1620, The Zone.
Crossover. Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover. It just crossed him over. Danced to another victim to the crossovers. Crossed him up and sit him down.
Concrete repair in Omaha at everlittleconcrete.com. Disappointed. So Oakview Mall was sold and it was not you.
I did not buy the Oakview Mall. Nope. I can.
So what is it going to be though? That's the question. You buy the land, but what is it going to be?
I saw the quotes from the guy. He was like, "It's about entertainment and it's about the food court." And I that's what he said. And I was like, "Hell yeah, I can't wait."
Okay, let's bring back old school food court and then let's create an entertainment district.
Yeah.
Just take the best parts out of Mall of America with all of the sports bars and then just go food court and just make it that.
I mean, food courts are the OG food truck station. You know, where they park all the food trucks. It's basically what it.
There's that
would be my vision.
That thing on 108th and Q.
Yeah.
That's actually it's kind of a cool. It's a cool place. I've been there a couple times. That's kind of neat.
Yeah, they got some good stuff there too. That's where the pizza bus is.
Right?
Pizza
bus.
Yep.
From
it's good stuff.
Diners, drive-ins, and dives.
Yeah, Oakview. The memories,
memories.
We used to run that place when I was in middle school.
I was a Westroads guy.
We would dominate Mr. Bulkey's.
I was closer to Westroads, but Oakview's great.
Oh, it changed my life when that mall opened up because it was right by where we lived. It was so exciting.
That is like our connection when we were growing up of our mall.
What mall did you go to?
I was a Merle Hay Mall guy.
Yeah.
Were you ever down upon whichever mall you went to? Or like, oh, you were that guy?
Oh, I would think in this town. Now, I did not grow up here.
Yeah.
That if you were affiliated with Crossroads, you guys probably looked down on them.
A little bit, yeah. Like, hey, let's go meet at Crossroads. Like, no.
Well,
my mom and dad won't let me go
You're
there.
probably a little older.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, I am. It's okay.
Crossroads just straight up wasn't around
when
I was mauling.
When you were bumping.
When you were mauling.
Did you ever cheat on Westroads?
Oh yeah, I mean, Village Point popped up. You got to check out the new sexy chick in town. See what's going on out there.
It's a little different taste. Look at the outdoor mall like that. That's the way it goes now.
But by that time, I was probably done mauling.
Do we consider?
I just want to go to Tilt. That's all I wanted to do. Just want to go to Tilt. I want to put my coins in the machine. I want to try and win the game that spins around and around and around, and you hit it at the right moment. That's all I wanted to do.
Let me ask you this.
Right.
But like Gateway Mall in Lincoln is making a comeback.
Yeah,
Gateway Mall is kind of cool.
There's some stuff in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
They have the bowling alley thing in there.
They have that huge arcade, which is part of the bowling alley.
The Applebee's in there is always busy.
The Applebee's is always busy.
What Applebee's is not busy?
That's true. That's true.
It's been a while
in the neighborhood.
Why are Applebee's and Olive Garden two of the most popular places in this town?
You know what you're getting, man.
Yeah, it's like it's just old reliable.
I won't stand for any disrespect.
I'm telling you, I think they hire people to sit outside so it looks like they're busy, or they tell their employees to park their cars not behind the building but park in the prime spot so it always looks like it's busy.
Even if you go in
is
there,
that what's going on at Texas Roadhouse too? My God, it's always busy.
That's
based on the parking lot.
Texas Roadhouse rolls.
Man.
Oh, they're so good.
Well, yeah, but like even you could drive by like on a Wednesday at like 4. And it's like slammed.
That one out on 155th and Dodge is always full.
That's the one I always drive by. Like, good Lord.
Somebody brought, so they, I think we talked about this, but they make, they make the rolls that you can cook. They're take and bake rolls basically from Texas Roadhouse. Somebody brought those to our Thanksgiving, and those were our. And they gave us many tubs of the butter.
You see, the butter is the key there.
Yeah, that's the most popular person at Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it was a pretty sweet deal actually. We had like 4 or 5 trays of the rolls from Texas Roadhouse. They didn't look the same because they were cooked in. But
did they taste the same?
I mean, it did the job.
Yeah,
it did the job. For sure.
So
that's an elite edition right there.
We could have a food contest here. The Texas Roadhouse rolls or the Rotello rolls.
Well, what about the King's Hawaiian?
No. They were going local.
Okay.
Because
Texas Roadhouse local.
Texas Roadhouse local.
Spezia.
Spezia. It's Spezia. Actually.
So I acted like I was.
Yeah.
So I played your role yesterday as a tourist. So I was there. We had a big meeting, and so the lady said, "Would you?" There were like 8 of us sitting around a table. Would you like some rolls? And I spoke for the group, and I said, yes.
You bet.
So she brought out rolls, and I said, now, where are these from? And I said, are these Italian?
Locally sourced?
And she goes, no, it's Rotella's. And I was like,
okay.
I've not heard of that country. And she looked at me and she's like, no, it's you're not from here?
You're a jerk.
And I said, no.
No, I am.
And so she explained Rotella's to me. And I was like, oh, they were awesome.
Yeah, they're big bread in town. They kind of run
Well,
bread.
there's very few places that you can drive by and you could have just had a full buffet and smell the place and be hungry again. That's Rotella's.
Hell yeah.
Every time I'd go into like Nebraska Brewing's tap room, I'd smell that. I'm like,
here's the thing. If the bread trumps anything else on the menu, you're screwed.
Yeah, it's true.
You are putting a lock on that building and you are never going back.
This is why Grisani's never survived, because their breadsticks outweighed the rest of their menu.
Too good of bread?
Yeah, and they had like the perfect amount of like butter and garlic on the breadsticks. They were just fantastic. And they were unlimited.
What if the bread is so good you eat all the bread, but then the food is also really good, but you get too full?
Okay, so that's fair. Now
that's
the food has got to be on the level of the bread or better.
Right. Yeah, that you'll go in moderation.
Then the onus is on you. You have to.
Yeah, you got to go in moderation.
Then. Yeah. Macaroni Grill.
It's been a long time since I've been to Macaroni Grill. God, I cannot remember the last time I've been.
I don't think I've been to Macaroni Grill.
Yeah, me neither.
Well, if you go to the state of Texas where chains live, you will find a Macaroni Grill in Lubbock.
That's so true.
All right,
Lubbock. Another Lubbock drop on the show.
Red
Lubbock
Raider
is
territory.
Where every chain I think goes to try out.
Did you guys go? Did you go to Macaroni Grill on your list?
I saw it on the side of the road.
Okay.
Macaroni.
Damn,
it might have been. You know what? It might have been Corpus Christi.
Okay.
No, I think the state of Texas is where all chains begin, and they test it out, and then if it works, we're in Florida or Texas, and if it works, we're going to expand.
Omaha has been known as a test market for things. They tried out the Taco Bell breakfast was one of the very few.
Yes, it was.
Omaha was one of the very few cities. I think
didn't KFC when they did the double down or whatever?
Yes.
Nebraska was one of the first ones for that too.
I think it was. Well, you remember the chicken sandwich wars of 2020?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they were going to roll that out, and Popeyes was going to they were just going to do it in a couple test cities, but then they were like, no, this has got to be a full rollout now. But I think Omaha or Lincoln was going to be one of those as well.
Did you guys ever have that double down, by the way?
Where the chicken is
the chicken is the bun.
No.
I did once.
Oh, that's what that is?
Yeah. I did that. I did that once.
So what's in between the chickens?
Bacon.
Wow.
Bacon and some type of sauce.
You might as well go to the state fair and grab a
sandwich. It's exactly what I would have assumed would have been like my Iowa State Fair experience had I gone. And I was not feeling right, even into the next morning.
See, my body just isn't ready for that anymore.
And this was a while ago where I feel like I could handle that a lot better back then than I could now. And even then it was like, okay, I finally found my limit.
I wish my body was still at the point where I could eat fried chicken more, because
fried chicken's so good.
It's delicious, but
I
feel
never eat it.
So horrible afterwards every single time. And then I end up taking it out in the places. I'm like, man, I just don't know if I can do Raising Cane's anymore. But it's not Raising Cane's fault.
No, it's me. As we get older,
I'm an old man.
There are certain things our body just doesn't appreciate,
and one of them is chicken.
We got this must have been.
Chicken.
I think this was last week. We were talking about, of course, food. Someone said you guys should do a survey on the most popular, and now tying this into this discussion, chain restaurant in Omaha.
The most
now,
popular.
We have enough good local places, and I think we're loyal to our local places here. But we all like a chain, a comfort.
Yeah.
From time to time. Most popular chain restaurant in Omaha.
I'm telling you, by judging the parking lot at Texas Roadhouse, that's got to be top 3.
Now, can we throw Chipotle into the mix? Because that's always going to be pretty.
Yeah, is that a restaurant? Or is that more like a fast?
Well, because then we have to talk about Raising Cane's, which is clearly.
Okay, so we're throwing out fast casual.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Yeah, I would put Texas Roadhouse in the top 3. Is it the best?
Roadhouse. Olive Garden, Applebee's. So
there's not a ton of Texas Roadhouses, but it's always busy.
I'm going to stand up for Chili's.
Okay,
stop going to Applebee's and go to Chili's.
Southwest chicken egg roll.
There's Southwest egg rolls
a few weeks ago, and it was delicious.
I had it in the airport when we were coming back from Mexico. Not in Mexico. It was in our layover in Denver.
Get a big beer with a frosted ass mug.
And I had the triple dipper. The Southwest egg rolls. We had some slideys. And of course the chicken fingers, because they're very good.
They are good.
Yeah, Chili's does not get its due propers. I feel like it's considered to be Applebee's is like redheaded stepchild. Where if you
Chili's
look at the
boys,
menu quality, I would put Chili's up against Applebee's any day.
Chili's boys. Where are my Chili's boys at?
Yeah. Is it just because there's probably more Applebee's than there are Chili's?
Yeah, I think
That's probably it.
they've cornered it. For
They
sure.
advertise more.
They continue to build while Chili's, certain locations just
Their
close.
jingle is not as annoying.
Applebee's baby back ribs.
That's Chili's.
I know.
Oh, feeling good in the neighborhood. Is that what Applebee's is?
Baby back ribs. Play the hits, man.
Was that what it was? Is it feeling good in the neighborhood? Something like that with Applebee's?
Yes.
Okay.
So, eating good.
Eating good in the neighborhood.
Eating good in the neighborhood.
And I think I probably heard enough of the country song about Applebee's.
Oh yeah, and the Oreo shake.
Oh yeah.
Remember when that was the thing last
Oh,
summer?
yeah. They would play that in like arenas,
Yes.
right? It's tough times in our
The
country.
Applebee's slogan is "Eating good in the neighborhood," but it also says their mission statement is to make sure you're eating good whenever you step into an Applebee's. That feels like that didn't even need to be stated.
Well, I hope that's their core principle.
I would hope that that's
Goes
the
without
goal
being
of
said.
the restaurant.
We don't want you to get salmonella or
Applebee's
anything.
has cheap drinks going. There you go. That's the only thing that puts them slightly ahead, in my opinion. If you go there ahead of Chili's, but I'm pro Chili's.
Did Applebee's do away with the 2 for $20?
It comes and
yeah.
goes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it kind of
that's a
I
season.
think that's
It's like-
a
it's like the-
business if they had it nonstop.
It's like the McRib.
I had a real bad. See, it's tough for me to get on the Chili's bandwagon because of one Monday Night Football experience in the Columbus Chili's. I've
Got
told this
after it?
before. Well, they had
Margaritas.
50-cent wing night, and my wings were undercooked.
Oh, I thought you were going to
that's
say
the
you were
worst.
overserved on Margs like Pam Beasley.
Nah.
I was overserved.
I was doing second drink.
Second drink.
It becomes second drink because the ice melts. Yeah, no, nothing like that. But it was a real weird concept. They had Monday Night Football, and then they also decided on top of their wing special, they would have karaoke while Monday Night Football was going on. It was very bizarre. And this whole time I had undercooked wings. They were pink.
Emailer Colin.
That's bad on.
It's not
on
good.
wing night.
Colin?
He'd like to throw one in. He says P.F. Chang's rarely disappoints.
That's
I've
true.
never been
That
to
is
a
true.
P.F.
Now I
Chang's.
believe we only have the one in town at West.
Oh, you gotta have-
Yeah, I think the Westroods is it.
You got to have like the
Was
lettuce,
there,
the lettuce
there
wrap
used to be
thing.
multiple?
I mean, it feels like it used to be more prevalent than it currently is.
Yeah.
I haven't been to P.F. Chang's in a long time either.
Went there for a birthday. It's been in the last 10 years.
Cheesecake Factory.
Cheesecake
Speaking
Factory,
of-
we've talked about
Right
quite
next
a
to the
bit.
P.F. Chang's. Good stuff.
Rarely, if ever, but I have many gift cards. Many gift cards. Every year around this time, I get a Cheesecake Factory gift card.
One of these days,
From-
Connor's gonna have a
from
feast
somebody-
at Cheesecake Factory.
Somebody decides I need to meet the quota this year. They need to give Connor a $25 gift card to Cheesecake Factory, and then I collect it for an entire year. And I have probably over $100 to spend at Cheesecake Factory. If anybody wants to, hang out with me, I get a lot of.
It's on you.
There's going to be a lot
It's
of
on
people
Connor.
now that would like to go there.
Yeah.
If you're paying,
if you're buying.
Maybe I'll bring in cheesecake for everybody one day. I'll just I'll get the sampler platter times 4.
Well, if you're buying though, it makes more sense to go there because then you can run up a little bit of a big boy tab with the alcohol. You have a cold one.
You can
That's
wait
true.
at the bar while they make your cheesecake platter.
you know
Yeah,
why I
yeah.
think maybe you get a lot of Cheesecake Factory gift cards.
Do
you
I
go
look
to-
like a cheesecake guy?
No, but if you go to,
Thank you.
let's say Target, and you want to give somebody a gift card, Cheesecake Factory usually has the top level.
You're right.
That's true.
Yeah.
I love that. I love
How do they decide that?
the Target corner of the store where all the gift cards
Yeah.
are.
Oh,
I love that. That is one of my most
It's a go-to.
used places around this time of year.
I'm with you.
Every single time.
If you're a fan of Italian food, would you go Biaggi's or would you go Olive Garden?
Like for gift card?
No, for like popularity wise, because I think Biaggi's, even though they have just the one location, I'm going to take Biaggi's over Olive Garden.
Okay. Well, I mean, I probably would, but like I mean, Olive Garden, just
There's more of them.
wherever
Yeah.
you are, there's an Olive Garden.
There's one right there.
I had an Olive Garden for Christmas Eve one time, so I'm not going back.
Oh, you did?
I did the
Yeah, because it was
It was open.
somebody didn't want to cook,
Oh.
and we didn't go to the grocery store. Everything was closed. They were open.
I was one of
Yep.
the very few fortunate people a couple of years ago to get the never-ending pasta pass.
Really?
Yeah.
And it's good
How'd
for
it go?
life, right?
No. It's I mean,
Is it like a yearly thing?
It does indeed end.
How long? Is it a yearly renewal?
I want to say we'd have to get our new boss in here because we kind of, I think we both did it. And I want to say
A subscription?
it was like 3 months or
Okay.
something like that.
And
And I think I went in there a grand total of once.
Oh. It's like buying the car wash subscription. You're like, I'm going to get my car wash 3 or 4 times a month. Yeah. And you're like, gosh, when's the last time I got my car washed?
I don't like when it comes to food, like I don't want to be repetitive. That's the last thing I want to do. So the never ending pasta pass was really not for me, but I was infatuated with the idea of it. Also the status that comes with it.
Yeah.
Was it a gold
membership
card?
has privileges?
It was, I think it was just a card and it said, it was just a regular card. It kind of looked like a gift card.
That'd be cool if it was a gold card.
I wanted them to, have my name on it and put a picture on there or something like that. Because there's something about, like, you got your Costco card.
Yeah.
You get your picture on there. You flash your Costco card when you walk in. It's a status deal.
I tried the goofiest smile I
could
on the Costco.
You have a gold star, or do you have the level above where you have to pay the $100 subscription every year and you get like kickbacks?
What does the gold star at Costco do for you? Because I think I just got a regular card.
That's just a regular. I think the gold star is the regular.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. And then there's like a level up where you pay however many bucks a year, but you get
gold star.
You get I'm pretty sure that's what everybody has. And then you get like kickbacks at the end of the year, whatever % of what you spent or something like that.
Do we even have to have a Costco discussion about the self-service checkout lane?
Oh,
how they need to expand those?
Yeah. That line goes all the way back out to
they only have one.
I disagree. I would like to take away the check yourself out lane at Costco.
I never go through there. Because the line is way too long.
Are you just anti-self-checkout?
Well, I'm generally anti-robots, yes.
I did once because I was kind of ushered there because they took a look at what I had. They're like, oh, yeah, why don't you go over here? And then he kind of was eyeballing me the whole time.
When you go through,
I prefer not to go.
They're so efficient when you go through the regular lanes. They take your cart for you. They'll, you don't have to take you buy a 700 pack of water and it's sitting in the bottom of your cart. You don't have to lift it up and take it out or anything like that.
Yeah, I'll do self-checkout at every other grocery store, but Costco, I don't want to do it.
But what will happen when I go to the self-checkout lane at Costco is I'll because there's no bags.
Yeah,
I will inevitably forget to scan something, and then I'll go to the door and be like, "See ya, you're going back."
Have you gotten sent back?
Down.
Oh yeah, I got sent back. I get sent back all the time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it kind of like a walk of shame?
The alarm
they check your receipt and then they handcuff you.
They check your receipt because they check how many items you have. You're an item.
I think some take that more serious than others.
Yeah, I think there's a lot.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Hey,
I think some take it more serious than others.
So you go into Walmart.
Yeah.
I go to the Walmart on 72nd Pacific, which I go to a lot.
Uh-huh.
They have the greeter in there, and they're supposed to check when you're checking out.
Nope.
That guy,
that guy doesn't do
just
anything.
Kind of lets you go.
Yeah.
Costco, they have there's no way.
I don't know about that. I run into people at Costco where they turn it, they got the highlighter out.
Yeah.
And they just look at the receipt and they mark it and you're off.
No, they're just super efficient about it. They can count to 18 so quickly.
There's some that just kind of give you the nod of like, yeah, looks good.
I've never had that experience.
Now I've had the one that like we had something kind of tucked away where they were really searching for that last one. They're like, oh, there it is. So yeah, I've seen the ones that really do take it serious, but I've also seen the ones that are very lax. So
I've never not been thoroughly checked, going out or coming into.
You need to go to Costco more than.
Now I understand, like if you have I do see this at Walmart. Like if you're walking out with a TV, they want to see the receipt,
right? The big ticket items.
But like if you're just a regular you went grocery shopping at Costco, they look at the receipt, they mark it with the highlighter, and you're out the door. I think you have a look.
Maybe it looks like I'm about to steal something. Maybe they know because
you were the guy that tried to sneak water on the bottom of the cart.
No,
and just slid
Maybe you're on the wall in the employee break room. Look out for this.
Like
guy.
Michael Scott at the Chinese restaurant. I have never knowingly stolen an item from anywhere. Maybe they'll look at me and they're like, well,
we
guy.
all have forgotten about the water you put on the bottom of the cart or the beer.
Yep, anything you put on the bottom.
Even at Hy-Vee, you forget to check it.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing you know, you're off and it ends up in your trunk and you're like, oh,
yeah. But you've driven far enough away where you're like, I can't go back.
Yeah.
Maybe you and I will go to Costco together and we'll do an experiment.
Yeah. Who gets profiled?
Yes.
Oh, you can tell when you walk in, if you get a glance of the people that are going to be actually taking care of the exits, who's taking it serious and who's not.
Maybe it's that they don't believe like a person like me has a membership to Costco.
No, that's not it.
Look at this guy.
Again, have you been to Costco?
Look at this guy.
It's all inclusive, man.
He's just a man. He may not have a family.
We need to check this.
Why would he need a Costco?
He came in here to get a pair of pants and a 12-pack of toilet paper.
And then he had a hot dog. And
then he's got some high noons there, too.
Tony is saying that it's age discrimination. They don't trust the youngs. Maybe it's that
Okay.
I look.
Okay, so I guess I look old because there's more than a couple of times I've just gotten like kind of the okay, you look good.
I've never been in there solo, so maybe that also has to do with it. Do you go in there solo?
I almost always go in there solo.
All right, so you're being profiled. You're young and you're solo.
Yeah, that probably is a profile then.
Yeah, they're like, look at this guy. How
Now
many
that I
people
think
could he
about it,
possibly be feeding with
I
this
think
cart?
usually if I got Reese with me, then they just kind of like, yeah, he needs to get out of
All
here
right, I gotta have a little kid.
because there's an expiration on that time limit of when you go into Costco with a kid.
Somebody lend me their baby
It's like,
that I can bring to Costco.
It's like just get this kid out of here.
We're doing a
Let me know. You can borrow Reese for a Saturday afternoon.
Let me take Reese over.
He'll entertain you for like the first 10 minutes. Then when he goes by the area of books and toys and you don't stop, it's your funeral, buddy.
Nick can hand off Reese to you, and then he'll just eat at the food court.
Yeah,
while
I'll
you
just-
shop.
yeah,
and
I'll have a hot
then
dog-
you'll
I'll have a hot
reconvene
dog.
at the entrance.
Yeah.
Get a chicken bake.
Yeah. See if you get through with just kind of a glance as opposed to really studying that receipt of yours. I think it might have something to do with it.
I'm being profiled at Costco.
You are.
You are.
That's okay.
I'm gonna ask next time I'm there.
Hey, how thoroughly are you checking?
No,
You see what item 3?
You're gonna ask
Never.
specifically about
Just
money?
ask a random question of your receipt. Like, what was item 3? What was it?
That was the great.
No, I'm they've never. It's always they look at the receipt and they highlight it and boom.
For me, they're counting. I mean, they're.
You've got items
Like-
in your cart. You've got a receipt. I'm trusting that they're all there.
In some cases, not all cases, they are like pointing. They're like boop 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 boop. They use the pointer finger. Boop 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 boop. And then
Didn't they know you just went through checkout?
I know. Well, I mean,
But on the way, maybe
what's
you.
a bottle of water?
What could you really have grabbed on your way?
Like
Because
the
you
travel packages.
a tire.
You stop-
I'll tell you what I could get. That
There's just a
thing-
random tire on your cart.
That big thing of Forever stamps that costs like $100. Now that is like gold. That is gold, and you could just slide those in. You know, because the gift
Somehow-
cards at Costco come in these giant
Yes.
poster-looking things.
Somehow, some
prevent
way,
exactly
Forever
that.
stamps continue to live at Costco.
Well, people got to send their Christmas cards. People got to send their Christmas cards. You don't want to go to the post office. Just get it at Costco, where you get your tires, you get your pizza.
Hey, I think this is the year. I'm less than 2 weeks out from Christmas. Still no physical Christmas card.
Wow, I have dozens.
The in mail, I am loading up. I have been sent a lot of those.
Oh,
But the in the mail Christmas card, I have yet to receive.
Huh.
Really?
I'm thinking.
what do you mean? So you're receiving digital Christmas cards?
Yes.
Oh, that's
That's
Like
cute.
I got one from my friend who, he has a family, so they always send one out with a Christmas letter.
Yeah.
It's all digital.
Really?
Because it's actually really
Huh.
cool. You open it up and it takes you on a journey of their 12 months. And I'm like,
Oh yeah.
I told him I made it to the end of January.
no.
I made it 1/12 through your Christmas card.
You gotta send that thing in the mail.
You could tell that I think last weekend was a very popular time to send them out because on Tuesday, or it was yesterday, no, Monday or Tuesday, we checked the mail like
Loaded.
7 or 8.
Loaded.
I'm like, good Lord.
We used to send Christmas cards here. We used to have to sign like
oh, really?
150 to 200 cards.
Did they go to like
each
they go to like
person
the
on
clients?
That'd
Yeah.
be nice.
Yeah.
Now we don't.
Well, that's
We're
a
saving
nice
money.
that's a nice touch.
Oh,
Right?
We could all
saving
put
money.
on like our best sweater and do like a Step Brothers, but just with everyone.
Good
Doesn't
What a
have to just be
great
two.
idea by
Good
Nick.
idea.
Send it out digitally.
Yeah, let's do a Step Brothers one.
We want to increase our email database.
Yeah,
We're on to
There we go.
something.
We all wear our Canadian tuxedos. and
Yeah.
just
Oh.
load up
or
for
we
a
could
day.
do the Michael Scott one where like we got ski attire and just say Skeezin's greetings from 1620.
Nice.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Good one.
Yeah, we
So
could do that.
in the Happer household with you and your wife, you have all of these Christmas cards that are arriving.
Dozens.
Now,
Dozens.
are they put up like on the wall?
We have a Christmas card holder that is kind of draped over like a banister.
Yeah.
You know, it
Got the clothespin.
So they can
Yeah,
overlook
so,
you at
yeah,
all times.
We have a board, like just like I think it's just like normal, like wood fence panel
Yeah.
that my wife painted.
Great.
And then, we've got like
You can use
the clothespins that are now, they're like super glued on it. And then you just clip them and then they go down on one
Genius.
side and go down on the other side.
Yeah, so we get those
It's
and
decor.
wedding invites go on the fridge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same thing. Yep. Same thing.
Yeah, because those are easy to forget about.
I like the trend that people are doing now. They are making their wedding invites magnets. They're just
Yes.
making the
Yeah,
magnets.
that's really smart.
Great
That is
job
smart.
by them.
Because you understand that that's where it's going. 90% of the time is going in the fridge.
Going straight to my fridge.
Or the trash.
And I won't think about it until the date comes up again. Or I'm looking at my fridge randomly one day. It's like, yeah, I know there's nothing in there.
So
Let's look at the outside.
And I'm so bad at RSVPing too.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like the worst at RSVPing.
Horrible at it. But yeah, I get a lot of Christmas cards. And I get profiled at Costco.
Real quickly, guys, because of the chains,
what happened?
Hockey Dads and then Queen Jamie of the Gridiron both are on the Carrabba's.
Carrabba's is good.
Carrabba's is good, but do you guys realize it would have been like in the last 5 or 6 years? They changed the menu.
Oh, really?
Like they really downsized it. Like I'm on the Carrabba's bandwagon as well, but I like the old menu better.
I hit
Carrabba's.
144th and Maple.
Yeah, 144th and Maple, right by
That's you guys.
It's our territory.
Yeah.
I'm a South of Dodge guy.
So Carrabba's, I went there a lot. I frequented Carrabba's during COVID.
Always smells good.
They were doing the the take and I don't know if it was take and bake. I think it was already done. But the meals for families.
Yeah, the meals to go, and then you just had to pop it in the oven or whatever.
Damn, that was like $50 to feed 5 people.
The family feast. It's the wood fire there that that place in Firebirds. Anytime I drive by it, because of the wood fire, dang, you're gonna get me in the door.
The wood fire.
Yep, it's the best.
Jason says, as a former Costco employee, we profile against gingers.
Oh, wait. So okay, well maybe I've gone gray so much that. They don't realize that you, my friend, you are talking to a ginger.
This is all starting to make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Is that a badge of honor?
Well, I mean, I choose to look at it that way.
Okay.
As well, you should.
As a ginger,
I think you should ask. You should make a scene.
We are a
pride
pride
why are
community.
all these other people just skating by?
Yeah.
Why did you stop me?
I would have to get more evidence. I would have to. I have to create more of a case.
Our word's not good enough for you?
I'd have to bring all you guys in, and you go straight in front of me one by one by one. They just highlight your receipt and you get out of there. And I'm like, now wait a minute.
It's like the random wanding at the airport.
And
you're like, wait, why'd you choose me?
And the person would be like, no, I checked them, and I'll be like, boys, come back in. Tell this woman if they checked your stuff or not. And one by one, you say no.
What was it about them compared to me that was more trustworthy?
That's all. I'd like to build a case first before I really go public with that evidence. We'll get there.
Yeah,
don't worry. It doesn't really bother me all that much, but it does happen.
And I'm sure you like the conversation.
Oh, I love the conversation.
Do you converse with the TSA worker while they're filling you up?
They are less talkative, I've found.
They are. They are. By the way, huge 1620 The Zone listeners.
The TSA at our fine Omaha Play Airfield.
Yes. There was one time I was providing my passport just recently, and they're like, "Oh, not on the radio this morning." I'm like,
nice.
No, I'm not. I'm here.
That's good. That's got to be nice for them knowing a guy who's going through it, because you don't know where these people are coming from. You don't know what they're up to. They see a guy that they know. They're like, "All right, this guy's cool."
One guy on a Husker baseball trip knew. He's like, "Oh,
the big fella." That you got to go and now I bought the TSA pre-check.
Yeah, I did too. Best $85
because I had a traumatic experience of I came in with a hoodie and I was like in a t-shirt that I didn't want everybody to see.
Oh, and they made you take it off.
Take off the hoodie, and then I got patted down, and it was like embarrassing.
Was it the Jim Flowers t-shirt?
No. But I feel like
they always profile the big fella.
We've talked about pre-check before.
We don't want to be felt up.
I think it's because you had a hoodie on.
And I think I came to the realization that I don't really want pre-check because I'm a person who gets to the airport very early.
Yeah.
Very, very early. So I'm never in a rush. So I'm really okay with going through the security checkpoints and waiting my turn. And usually it doesn't take that long, especially in our fine town. That doesn't see a whole lot of traffic. But when you're
coming back and you might be coming through Denver or Atlanta or
now,
Fort
people
Lauderdale.
always talk about Denver as far as the security is concerned. Mine has always been quick and easy.
There is one area where they don't have pre-check. I think it's on the south end. You have to go to the north end for pre-check because then they say, "Nope, get in line."
Gosh,
and they're like, "Oh,
yeah, that's like the worst."
I've never had a.
I paid for the right not to slum it in this line.
I've never been at the point where it's like, man, I'm gonna miss my flight because this is so long. Because I always give myself so much time.
Good for you.
Going to the airport, I'm really
old man in you. Good
I'm really quite old in that.
Commendable.
Way. I love getting to the airport early
because
I like walking around the airport, seeing what's going on in the airport. I walk into the Hudson News.
Go to Cracky McGee's.
Hang out.
Definitely have a beer.
Hang out at Cracky's.
Talk to the bartender. Say,
get
I'm
the
going to
trip started.
Vegas. They're like, you're going to Vegas again.
They're like, well, you need more.
Oh,
than
you're
this.
just here. We just saw you.
See, and Gary, I don't know about you, but the first few times that I went through pre-check, especially at Eppley, I would observe the people, like especially if there's a long line, and observe the people who look panicky, like they were not going to make their flight, and you're just kind of like, damn, this is sweet.
Give yourself some
You
time.
just kind of feel like people are looking at you like, yeah, I wonder what he does. It's like
He's got TSA pre-check.
This is only $85.
It's pretty simple. He pays $85 a year.
But I guess if they're not doing it, they don't realize how affordable it is. So they probably be like, is he going on a PJ or something? Damn.
Yeah, you
Pretty
do
sweet.
get the look at Eppley because of the line is separated.
Mm-hmm. You just get to walk and be like, what's up?
And then when you are there waiting, if they only have one person checking IDs and they have to choose.
Yeah. Oh, you get the preferential treatment.
Yeah.
Membership
That's when you
habits,
keep your head
privileges.
down and do not make eye contact and move to your line.
Yep.
And then once you're through and they're stuck being felt up, you're like,
yep,
$85.
It's like, damn,
5
that was a
years.
breeze. 5 years. Yep. I got to renew mine in February.
Like I said, I never had a problem. I'm good. I get to the airport.
Good for you.
At least, depending on where I'm at, what I have to do that day. Like, flying at 11 o'clock, what's the harm in getting there at 8?
No, get out of here. There is no way you're there at 8 in the morning.
Well, I mean, be around
3
at 8,
hours?
be around at 8, and then get through security, and usually it takes about 12 minutes to get through security. It's like, I got 2.5 hours to blow.
I can understand that if I'm going to even like Midway, if I lived in Chicago, but going to Eppley and having that much time to kill, like there's just not.
Oh, I got time, Nick.
I like
time.
I like Cracky McGee's for a good like half hour. I like Cracky McGee's for a beer, but I'm not going to be posting up there for like multiple hours.
You know what? I drive to the airport and I'm like, I could get some food, and then I think I could just get it at the airport, and then I end up spending $35 on a sandwich or something like that.
That's true.
And it's it's just the way I choose to live my life, I guess. I don't fly that much.
Any update on fireworks or anything else?
I haven't seen any GIFs over the last half hour, so I think we're clean as of right now. The GIFs for this morning would not be quarterback related, I believe.
I believe the first one that went out is not.
Yes,
because they referenced a big dog.
Yes,
or it could be.
If it's a DAWG, then maybe it's that dog.
I know.
I don't think that's happening until the weekend, because he's not here yet. You got to get here.
Big dog.
If that came out, you would just like, hey, let's save our money. Why don't you just move here? You don't need to come up for a visit. We can't put you on the throne. The throne will not be involved.
No, the throne is out. The throne is out. I did see a tweet from it was Tyson Terry. I think it was before 10. He just said, "Wow."
Yeah, I know.
And I was like, "Whoa,
yeah.
What could this be about?"
But then his had the bones in it too. Am I starting to read defensively? You start throwing the bones in there, all of a sudden you're taking me off the offensive scent.
Just imagine as somebody that is a recruit with this fan base, how you could troll them and just put out emojis.
You could do anything you want.
Just put out eyeballs. All you got to do is put out just a pair of eyeballs.
I mean, Matt Rule literally did that for the entire offseason last year. I wonder when he's going to hop back on Twitter.
I don't know.
I thought after yesterday he might.
Because
he's clearly in full offseason mode.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was unbelievable on the McAfee thing yesterday.
He was.
He was in full, I love this, and this is the best, and this is why you come to Nebraska mode. Pat McAfee's just sitting there I kind of love it, man. I kind of love it.
Only moment you could tell I don't want to say I got uncomfortable, but he kind of got a little bit more serious or stoked is when they're kind of doing the Raiola back and forth where they're talking about, wait, who's the offensive line coach? What's his name? Okay. And then as they showed Matt Rule, he was just kind of like,
he just looked at the camera, kind of smirking a little bit.
I was disappointed he didn't cuss.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. They were dropping
F-bombs he said bro a little bit more than I'm used to.
Yeah, bro.
He did say bro.
Yeah, I was waiting for a swear.
I still
they try and get they
at least an S.
Once new guests on that show realize that it's fair game.
Yeah.
Because what McAfee or the other guys on the show are saying,
let them fly.
They will they got JJ White to swear. Aaron Rodgers cusses.
Oh yeah, he does it all the time.
But they'll get they've tried to get Saban. And Saban won't do it.
He will. He goes on there every week, right?
Yeah, he's a paid guy.
Is AJ Hawk just kind of the bouncer of the show?
That's always my takeaway.
It's just him. He asks a few questions, but why
do they put him on the screen all the time?
He's
there. Never saying anything,
and he looks
in
exactly
his tiny little bookshelf room.
Yeah, and he looks exactly the same as when he played. He looks very intimidating. I would never mess with the guy, but he's just there. It's almost like he's the bouncer. He's the intimidator.
He's never. But they even when Pat's like on his thing and he's asking a bunch of questions.
Yeah. They'll go back to AJ like an hour later.
They'll show the 3 box of the guest Pat and AJ Hawk. I'm like, why is AJ Hawk on the screen right now? He's not saying anything.
And he does. He looks intimidating.
I mean, how many words do you think he said? How long is their show?
I think he asked 3 questions yesterday with Coach Rule.
So when they were just YouTube only, he was on more. So now that they've gone to ESPN, it seemed like he doesn't join the show until noon.
Okay.
So he's only an hour. Like it's a 3-hour show, but only 2 are on TV.
Yeah.
I think he only does the last 2 hours.
Okay.
He doesn't say much in those 2 hours.
He doesn't say much. And even when the reason that Aaron Rodgers is on with him is AJ, he doesn't say much during that segment.
Yeah. He's the bouncer.
He's just there.
He's the bouncer of the show.
Little fake bookshelf.
But he is a COVID survivor.
Nice. Congratulations. All right. Well, boys, we'll see what's in store for us today.
All right.
Good show.
Is there any basketball for you today or tomorrow?
No.
Oh, really? You're off the whole week?
Finals.
I got basketball to watch tonight.
Yeah, you're gonna watch the Blue Jays
against UNLV.
Yep.
Too bad that it's not at UNLV.
Yeah,
it's off campus. Probably be just a Creighton home game.
It'll probably feel a lot like
Vegas trip in December.
Yep. Ah, man, gotta love it. All right, that is the crossover powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. It's Wednesday. We'll start things off next.
Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
Have dynamic divisions. You can literally do that by saying, all right, well, we're going to match up the teams that we have scheduled against each other, and they're in one division, and the other group is in the other side. Hell, you could change them every year if you wanted to, but at least you have structure of this team's going to have the best record on this side, and your tiebreakers are going to work.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from a Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Becoming more mild Wednesday. Expect partly sunny skies. Wind remains fairly light out of the southeast throughout the day. Highs in the mid to upper 40s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
The Zone Hotline is powered by 42 Degrees. The Source by your mom's house.
Host is roasting every morning. Host is roasting every day.
Since 1972, family-owned and locally roasted Host Coffee Service has been roasting the finest coffee for businesses and restaurants. If you're ready to change to a better coffee provider, it's time for Host Coffee.
Omaha's best coffee since 1972. Host Coffee is always roasting something good for you.
Peerless Energy Systems is Nebraska and Iowa's locally owned and operated authorized solar air compressor distributor. Peerless Energy Systems provides products and solutions for compressed air systems, helping companies in manufacturing, food processing, transportation, auto body repair, car dealers, and more. Driving industry efficiency through service, support, and relationships, let Peerless Energy Systems help you increase efficiency with your compressed air systems today. PeerlessEnergy.com.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Dell's holiday event is one of their biggest sales of the year. Shop limited time deals on laptops like the stylish, innovative XPS 13, engineered to do it all on the Intel Evo platform. Plus, save big on ultra-sharp monitors and top brand accessories. It's the perfect time to upgrade any home, business, or gaming setup powered by Intel Core processors. Shop now at Dell.com/deals to take advantage of huge savings and free shipping on everything. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
Let me get you up to speed on the service that you need.
Is your car making a howling, growling, or crunching noise? It could be related to the drivetrain, which consists of your transmission, your transfer case, and differentials. Omaha Transmission is specialized in diagnosing and repairing all those components. Don't diagnose it yourself. Take out the guesswork and have us tell you for sure.
Omaha Transmission, shifting to running smooth.
It's the holiday mystery sale at JCPenney. How much will you save? An amazing coupon giveaway starts this Thursday. Everyone can enjoy guaranteed savings of an extra 30% off, or your chance at an extra 40 or 50% off your entire purchase in store. All the gifts you need, all the savings you want. Mystery solved. JCPenney. Make your holidays count. Offers valid on select styles 12/7 through 12/14. Exclusions apply. Giveaway in-store only. Must be 18 or older. See store or jcp.com for details.
This year, be sure your giving includes the Heart Ministry Center. Located at 24th and Binney, Heart Ministry Center provides food, health care, and a way forward to people severely affected by poverty in Omaha. Your donation helps make all we do possible. Please visit us online at heartministrycenter.org. You can also take a tour or volunteer. You'll see just what it means to be part of the Heart. Heart Ministry Center, dignity for all.
John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air is now open in Omaha, and we are looking for experienced plumbers and HVAC technicians to join our team. We offer company-paid employee health insurance, provide a company truck with innovative technology, and so much more. We will have open interviews Mondays and Wednesdays at our new location, 9321 J Street. Learn more at calljh.com/careers or call
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
It's the Connor Happer Show with Connor Happer and Josh Otson. Let's get ready to rumble.
Licensing of the phrase "let's get ready to rumble" just over the last 7+ years internationally is grossed approximately close to $400 million in retail sales.
Really?
You guys look like, what do they look like, Jimmy?
Dorks. They look like a couple of dorks.
On 1620, The Zone.
All right, welcome in. Happy Wednesday. It is the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Peter Krenzer with you today. Peter, man.
Hello.
Back for day 2 out of 3 as Josh is in Little Rock, Iowa Western with their national championship game tonight against Buddy Stevens and East Mississippi Community College.
Tonight is the night.
That'll be on ESPNU.
Yeah, ESPNU.
I think this evening. So go Reavers as they go for back-to-back national championships. And Josh looks to get another ring and continue to hold that over his nemesis heads, like Aaron Rodgers or J.J. Watt or Bryce Harper or whatever it might be. And he aims for another one tonight. Elsewhere on the show today, Robin Washer will join coming up in just a little bit. We could talk some football with him, but also basketball, who has the week off going. Nebraska basketball has the week off going into their game against K-State on Sunday. Mitch Sherman of The Athletic. Mitch Sherman of The Athletic wrote a piece today on the relationship, and the complicated, not a complicated relationship, but the complicated nature of the relationship between Baylor Shireman and Allie Badenhorst, which I thought was
that's interesting.
I don't know that we'll talk much about it, but it was a good little story. You could find that on The Athletic. And it is Wednesday, and when noon rolls around, it'll be time for the tweet bag. So get your tweets in at Happer Show, at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. You could also email a tweet or just words, Connor at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank inbox. And you can text a tweet at 402-951-1620. When you call it, it's the 42 Degrees The Source hotline, 402-951-1620. And yes, of course, we will accept tweets, quote unquote tweets, from the YouTube stream as well, which you can find conveniently on our website, 1620thezone.com. Your incentive today. So if you throw in a tweet today in the tweet bag, your name will be put in a hat. And then afterwards, we'll pick one, maybe two, who knows? Maybe there is no limit to the amount of tweets we'll pick out of the bag. And you could win $50 to Cops Pizza. and wings and other things today. $50 to cops. So we will have that on the show today as well. That's the lineup powered by the Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard. Sitting around waiting for the boom. I have no intention of sitting around and waiting for the boom. As Mike Ehrman Trout once said, yes, I'm on a Breaking Bad kind of kick right now because it keeps popping up on my TikToks, and I just keep watching.
It's on the mind.
Yep, it just keeps happening. So we're sitting around and waiting for the boom. Whenever that may happen, the timeline on McCord is, I don't know that it's particularly complicated, but I do continue to believe that it's just kind of a matter of when.
Yeah,
I do feel like Nebraska's in a really good position there, and that is completely separate from the Dylan Raiola conversation where he'll be visiting over the weekend, and you would expect some sort of an announcement from that this weekend. So I kind of, everybody's sitting around, they're just waiting. You're like, I'm not celebrating nothing until it's either A, announced, or B, everybody's signing the dotted line and this is all over. If that's the case, then you'll have to wait until, in Raiola's case, until next Wednesday. And then, dominoes can fall between the commitment and then out of sort of other things, of course, in the class. And as far as the McCord thing, I mean, that stuff is like non-binding. If you commit to somebody in the transfer portal, you just commit and then you just show up, right? They've offered you a spot on the roster and then you just go. There's no paperwork that you have to sign. It's like non-binding for anybody. And I guess until you like sign up for school and then you go from there. So that doesn't have to wait until next Wednesday. That can happen whenever. McCord is left. He is returned home. And Julian Fleming, I believe, visit is wrapping up or has wrapped up in the last few hours as well. And we'll see how that one works as well. But it could be a very fruitful next few days for Nebraska football. We'll keep our eye on all of that stuff. Elsewhere, Matt Rule went on the Pat McAfee show and went straight into recruiting mode yesterday. I was able to watch it. I'm not blocked from their YouTube, which is nice. We will get the Ohio State perspective on Kyle McCord's departure. Some of their players had some quotes about Kyle and sort of his situation that led to him leaving this year. I was thinking about a thought that we brought up with Max Olson yesterday, sort of a big picture, where do quarterbacks go type of idea. Creighton plays tonight at UNLV. I want to take a look at Creighton. There was a graphic that was going around yesterday about sort of their formula to win basketball games and how it's more of a math equation than anything else with the Blue Jays this year. They'll play tonight at UNLV. It's kind of a challenging week for them. They're at UNLV tonight. It's a one-off road game. It's a neutral site game, but it's I guess a road game. Creighton fans will be there. But you're traveling across the country to get there, play the game tonight ahead of a gigantic game on Saturday against Alabama, which should be really, really fun. So we'll touch on the Blue Jays tonight. A couple things weirdly from the NBA last night. Draymond Green got thrown out of another game.
Shocker.
Yep, it's very shocking. We'll take a look at his long history of getting thrown out of games and committing technical fouls and flagrant fouls and things of that nature. The numbers are certainly adding up for Draymond, who said last night that he was not going to apologize. He usually doesn't. No, he said last night that he was going to apologize. He usually doesn't apologize because in this case, he is going to apologize because he didn't do it on purpose. So I don't know what that says about all the other times he smacked somebody like in the, underneath or in the face or whatever it might be. But
I don't think that statement means what he wanted it to mean.
He believes that he is not responsible for the actions that he took last night, which is amazing for Draymond Green. And there is some buzz surrounding a couple names regarding Iowa's offensive coordinator for next year. And I would just like to bring up, what if? So we'll get to that during the show as well. We will start with this though. Peter sent me this before the show, just to get you guys a little fired up today. We've all been, if you're into it, you've been paying attention to the message boards, and when things are going right for you, obviously it's a very celebratory mood around these parts. But you also like to take a look and see what else is going on. What are the other people's reaction to this? If it's helping Nebraska's program and maybe not so much helping Georgia's program. We read you the theory yesterday about the guy who wanted to commit a federal crime by stopping the flight that comes to Omaha on Saturday. They get Dylan Raiola here, or Friday they get Dylan Raiola here.
Laguna Dog.
That was from Laguna Dog. Here's one from Purple Brave as of this morning on the Dogs 24/7 sports site. He says this: I've been to Nebraska. People are very nice there. It's cold and there's not much to do outside of college sports and farming. The women are also large. Maybe Raiola likes big girls. Not fat, but farm-fed, strong women like Brienne of Tarth. There's a reason Nebraska had great offensive linemen in the 80s and 90s. Athens can't provide that outside of maybe Wisconsin. No other schools can. So there's another theory. It could not be on merit. It simply could not be on merit. It can't be on anything that's like above the surface. It has to be something else that we don't know about. The theory that is being proffered over on the Dogs message board today is that Dylan Raiola likes big Midwestern girls like Brienne of Tarth. Now, I'm not a Game of Thrones guy, Peterman, but would you like to describe to me Brienne of Tarth?
I only just actually watched this show pretty recently. She is who's that? I'm trying to think of the name of the actress. I think it's Gwendolyn.
I have no idea. I just Googled a picture. I just Googled a picture before the show, and I was like, oh, that's what that guy's talking about.
Like, yeah, one of the biggest characters in the show, like physically.
What happened with Brienne of Tarth? Now, what was her fate?
She actually
did she die?
She does not. She does pretty well for herself.
Oh, she does.
Yeah.
Interesting. Let's see. I'm on her Game of Thrones Wikipedia page.
Oh,
let's see.
Does it have a good image?
Well, yes. And then usually they have like on these Wikipedia sites for like TV shows, they have like what happens to them at the end, like their fate. Like I've been scouring like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul Wikipedia pages over the last 2 days, and they all have it in like a drop-down screen, so you don't see it right away. Their fate, like, are they alive or are they dead?
That's a good idea.
Basically, I think it's really nice.
Quick source to find out some information.
It tells you the story. Brienne of Tarth is a knight of House Tarth and the only daughter of Lord Selwyn Tarth. Does this mean anything to you, Peterman? So you're not there yet. Like, where are you in the show?
Like, I've watched the whole show, and I know what happens, like, as her character develops. I don't know much about her, like, history.
Okay.
I know, like, what happens as the show progresses with her.
Prior to the Battle of Winterfell, Brienne was knighted by Sir Jaime Lannister, making her the first woman of the Seven Kingdoms to become a knight. Following the ascension of Bran, that's the guy who won, right? The Bran the Broken.
Yeah, and that is one of the many divisive plot choices of the final season.
I remember that being a conversation. Like, that's how the show ended. That guy just, like, he won the whole thing.
One of the more boring choices they could have gone with.
The King of Andals and the First Men. Following the death of Daenerys Targaryen, Brienne is appointed the new Lord Commander of Kingsguard. Now, none of that made any sense to me.
Basically, throughout the show, she just gets promoted a lot. She gets, like, people respect her.
That's good. That's what I'm talking about.
Physically imposing, good at what she does. That's, yeah.
It wasn't. So I don't think the message board post was meant as like he likes fat girls. He likes just, strong, powerful women.
Yeah.
Which is a great character trait to have.
I would agree,
in my opinion. All right. Here we are. Welcome to the show. It is Wednesday. Once again, the tweet bag is coming up in an hour. Get your questions in. If you're doing Twitter, if you're using Twitter, do the hashtag tweetbag so I can sort of keep them straight. So we'll sort of go through it as far as that is concerned. And then also you can email or whichever way you want to get into the tweet bag. Once again, you could win $50 to Cops coming up here in about an hour. Mitch Sherman will join at 11:30. We got football to talk about. Let's talk some hoops as well with Husker Online's Robin Washut when we return on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
For the Jays, the Huskers, and even you Jayskers, we are 1620 The Zone.
Suicide can be prevented by knowing the warning signs, and most importantly, knowing what to do if you recognize those signs in yourself, a loved one, or even a stranger. There are simple ways you can be there for someone, so they can be here for more tomorrows. Visit moretomorrowsne.org to learn the signs, how to approach the conversation, and where to get help. Or call 988 for help now. That's moretomorrowsne.org.
The brand new Dollar General Distribution Center in Blair is now hiring. Starting wage is up to $22 per hour with benefits including medical, dental, vision, 401k, and a $2,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Again, apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Dollar General can't wait to have you become a team member at their brand new distribution center.
Dear Santa, I hope you are having a good day in the North Pole. Is it cold all the time there? Is that why your cheeks are so rosy? I bet all of your reindeer are very excited. All right, guys. Is your beard long? My dad's is scratchy. My mom says I'm a good helper. But you didn't come last year. Was my chimney broken? Or did you forget? I do that sometimes. I just really hope this year when I wake up, I'm gonna see that you came to my house too.
Donate to Toys for Tots and help the Marines deliver hope to a child in need.
Betting on your favorite sporting events just got a whole lot easier. Warhorse Sportsbook is now open in Omaha. Save yourself the drive across the river and put your money where your mouth is at Horseman's Park, 6303 Q Street. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
The Zone Inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Email me, Connor Happer, with the Connor Happer Show at Connor, CONNOR, at 1620thezone.com. Send me your love, your hate, and maybe a few hot takes. The Zone Inbox, presented by Equitable Bank.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. Not only is it open enrollment for a lot of people, it's also a time you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, switching to MediShare saves about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people. And what's more, they like it. MediShare has double the member satisfaction rate compared to health insurance. Double. MediShare is a proven thing, too, for over 30 years. It's a Christian community of more than 400,000 members. And here's the thing. If you join before December 15th and you mention the promo code SHARE, you'll get another 10% off all of 2024. That's 12 months of savings. So I'll give you the number here in a second, but call. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline's December 15th. So call now. You'll save even more. Here's the number, 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE, 855-51-BIBLE.
Can you feel it? It's more than the chill in the air or the excitement of the holidays. At Heart Ministry Center, we call it the attitude of gratitude. Thanks to you, we're able to provide food, health care, and a way forward to people severely affected by poverty in Omaha. With matching funds available, now's the perfect time to give. Visit heartministrycenter.org/gratitude or sign up to tour or volunteer. Heart Ministry Center, dignity for all.
Let it fly. Your elevated sports bar experience. KOZ and Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620, The Zone.
The biggest
basketball coaching convention of
work on your stroke while you listen.
What?
You don't want them there? Yeah, I'm talking.
What is going on? Robin, are you okay?
Robin Washington.
Are your kids near you, or what just happened?
Husker Online.
It took a lot of preparation to make this thing a flawless interview, and clearly I still can't avoid it.
Robin Washington, Husker Online.
Maybe it was aliens. Maybe it was a phenomenon that we can't explain.
The Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, we're joined now on the 42 Degrees Source Hotline by Robin Washington of HuskerOnline.com. Hi, Robin.
What's happening?
What's going on with you? Are you busy at all?
Yeah, we're wrapping up our weekly Husker Online live chat on the message board, and I'll give you one guess what the most frequently asked question is at the moment.
Is it more of a conversation about when, or just from the people on the message board? Is it like, are they asking when more often than not? Because obviously when you hear about this and then it sits out there for a couple days, people start getting nervous.
Yeah, when is a big one. I think there's a lot of confidence that it will happen. Of course, we're referring to Dylan Raiola committing to Nebraska. That's the big topic here. But then the other part to it is just the ripple effect after it. Like, who's he going to bring with? When's he going to commit? What does this mean for other quarterbacks that are either committed or on the roster? Like, so all that sort of thing.
Well, what's your answer?
Well, I'm leaving most of that talk up to the guys that are doing a lot more of it than I am. But so I think it's borderline a formality at this point, at least it seems like. But then the bigger question, I don't know if there's enough time for like this massive flip wave to come with Raiola, because he had a long time to peer recruit to Georgia, and then also peer recruiting to Georgia is pretty easy. So like, I don't know if you're going to see a lot of guys leave that situation just because he's moving on, but you never know. I think just the names that are out there right now with Fleming, Raiola, and then
Kyle McCord.
Yeah. Those are the big ones right now, just given how close we are to signing day.
I imagine that there's a lot of in the chat, and this is starting to crop up over the last 24 hours, like a lot more. People feel indebted in a certain way, and maybe they should to a guy like Daniel Kalen, and people wondering sort of what his next move, if this indeed does go down. It's not like there's much time left. There's a week before signing day, and so I would imagine. I mean, personally, I'm curious, like what happens with that, and might Nebraska end up taking two quarterbacks in the cycle?
Yeah, it's unfortunate, just the way that whole situation has gone for him, and he's been nothing but loyal and 100% on board to Nebraska. But when you're a program like Nebraska and you're trying to play at a championship level and compete with the biggest of the big dogs, this is kind of the cost of doing business. Like feel good stories like that, they're not going to win you titles. Going up and getting the number one quarterback in the country is going to help you win a title. So that's just the reality. It's unfortunate, but again, it's just kind of the part of this whole operation now with the way recruiting works. So, but with him, you're right, he is up against it, and you just got to wonder like what other options would even be out there for him that for this at least next season would be better than what he has in Nebraska, because you got to think he's already probably under an NIL contract and has a pretty decent setup in that regard. So, maybe he just kind of lets things play out and goes through the off season, red shirts, and then reevaluates his situation next off season, just to give himself more time to find out what the best long-term situation is for him.
All right, Robin, let's go back to basketball, where, a week ago when we talked, you were heading up to Minnesota. That ended up being a lot of fun for
that was a great trip.
It ended up being a lot of fun for a half.
First 20 minutes was probably the best 20 minutes and the worst 20 minutes they played all in one game.
So I made this point yesterday, and I was not ready to put the nail in the coffin after Minnesota. First of all, there's just so much season left. And second of all, I think it's this, like,
we have seen this team in the Fred Hoiberg era, regardless of who's on the roster, actually do a pretty good job of responding when people sort of are like, all right, yeah, they're done and they're not very good. In my opinion, where I'm more concerned about their struggles is when they have some prosperity and things are going really well for them and it ends up going in the other direction. So Sunday didn't necessarily surprise me from sort of that perspective, but now it's about sort of what happens next.
Yeah. So the Michigan State game. Yeah, they responded exactly how you would have hoped, and I'm sure how Fred Hoiberg would have hoped, just because that was such a critical game. Even though it was December 10th, that was a borderline must-win game, just in terms of salvaging the early season momentum that they built up during that 7-0 start. Like it was pretty much out the window after that Minnesota loss, which means getting hammered at home by your in-state rival. That's one thing. Then to follow that up with an epic collapse in a game that, in a lot of theories, you should have won, and probably won fairly convincingly. They were on the brink of one of those patented Nebraska collapses. And you mentioned that Nebraska's done a good job of responding to adversity. Well, that's kind of just been the last couple of years.
Yep.
In the first 3 years, we've seen 7, 8, 9 game losing streaks.
That's true.
When things just start snowballing on them, so you kind of worried, like, which way are they going to go from here? So for them to come back and play that well against a Michigan State team that was equally as desperate for a victory, and play that well doing it, and just making all of the kind of veteran clutch winning plays down the stretch that they didn't make the last time out, that was very encouraging, and shows, I think, that what we saw against Creighton, what we saw in the second half against Minnesota was probably more of an outlier, because the overall body of work of this season, Nebraska's been a far better team than what they showed in those games, and I think Sunday proved that team is still there, and the expectations for this team are still very much attainable. But now, so they got a week off coming off that. They're feeling better about themselves. They got some good vibes going. The last time they had a week off, they were getting ready for Creighton, and they looked like they didn't even belong on the same court. So how are they going to do that in another difficult situation where you're going to just your second true road game against a good Kansas State team that I think is in the top 40, 45 in KenPom right now? Like, that's going to be difficult. And so that's kind of another test of how they can handle, like you said, things are good right now. With a week off, how are you able to sustain that and carry that over into another critical game? Because you look at the context of this season and postseason resumes, this has the opportunity to be a potential quad one win when all is said and done.
Yep.
If Kansas State does what they're capable of doing. So in a non-conference schedule where you scheduled so lightly, opportunities like this are few and far between. You already let the Creighton opportunity blow up in your face. You can't let that happen again, especially with the opportunity to go 2-2 during this 4-game December stretch and get some serious momentum going into the bulk of Big Ten play in January.
How much would you, I don't know, I'm not trying to make excuses. But obviously they've hit quite a bit of chop now, whether it's the entire Creighton game or the second half of Minnesota. And obviously Sunday was pretty good, and you're going into another important one this coming Sunday. But like, I just feel like going from, and you sort of hinted at it, you alluded to it, like you play your first 7 games and they weren't really eventful kind of at all. And then you immediately are thrust into big environment. Creighton clearly weren't ready for it after the week off. Like, and this team, it's not like they've all played together for many, many years or anything like that. How much would you say, like, just the matter of getting comfortable in, whether it's the environment, big time environments, or quality opponents, has been to blame from sort of like the choppy last 2 weeks here?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's something to be said for that. Just considering that, they went into this season with very little experience together, just with the way the offseason went. And so those first 7 games, they were trying to accomplish a lot of what other teams were doing all through the summer and fall practices. And so they were kind of behind schedule a little bit just with that chemistry and cohesiveness on the court, especially, facing adversity together. They just hadn't done it. Even through the first 7 games of the season, they really hadn't been tested all that much. And the few instances that they responded well, and they turned potential bad games into double-digit victories. But when they really got hit with it, I think Creighton was a serious wake-up call, a serious learning experience, and the Minnesota game as well, where, to their credit, they came back off that Creighton loss and just dominated Minnesota for 20 minutes and looked like a really good ball club. And then they took their foot off the glass. So I think each one of these instances is a different learning experience and growing opportunity for this team. And they're going to get another one on Sunday. We'll see how much they've learned from Minnesota. We'll see how much they learned from, riding a week of good vibes going into Creighton. So this is going to be a constant evaluation of how this team responds to those types of situations, and whether or not they're able to turn them into learning experiences, or if they're going to let the same mistakes happen again. Because if they do the same thing they did against Creighton, you're going to have a probably similar result on Sunday.
The sort of setup coming off of last year was, especially with that hot streak they hit at the end of the year and how well they were playing, and it was kind of all around Keisei Tominaga and how he was playing. And the thought maybe going into this year was like, all right, he's your kind of A1, and he's the guy, and you kind of build around him a little bit. They've added Rink Mast, and they've added Bryce Williams, and Juwan Gary has come back from injury now. So they're back in the lineup. It feels to me as if it needs to be less like Tominaga and then everybody else, and more kind of just everybody else. Like, and that feels, I don't know. Is that different than what you would have expected coming into this year? Obviously, it's going to have to be a team effort, but just as far as like who the guys are, who the dude is to get you a bucket, like it feels like it doesn't have to come from Keisei Tominaga right now. And for the record, it's not coming from Keisei Tominaga right now.
Yeah, I mean, he did okay against Michigan State, and especially with the way that they're defending him. And that's the other thing about this is I've noticed a pretty distinct difference in the way that teams are allowed to defend him compared to last year, where that, especially the Minnesota game, I mean, he didn't make a shot from the field for a reason, because coming off every screen and really every action offensively, he was being held, grabbed, bumped, and really just kind of roughed up, and the refs were letting him do it. And then when he tried to, do his little head kick back, or, like to try to dry a call, he either wasn't getting it, or the refs were warning him for trying to flop or draw calls. So like, that's kind of been an adjustment for him, in that life's a lot more difficult for him now than it was last year. And so he's had to adjust to that. So I think he did a good job of that against Michigan State, to where, he's got to get his shots. I know they have other options, but there's not a scorer on the team better than Keisei Tominaga, and a guy that can change the game in a very short amount of time, like Keisei. So he has to be a significant factor in what they do offensively. But I do agree with you. It can't be a situation where you're just forcing the ball to him, and he's taking shots on double teams and doing fadeaway contested threes, because that's not going to do anything for anybody. But what I do think they need to do is find more ways to get him the ball and get him looks. They talked about getting him involved more earlier in possessions and transition. Maybe he's taking on more of a lead guard role, off of changing possessions after scores or defensive rebounds, just to have the ball in his hands earlier, and not having to try to create stuff for him in the half court. But until they can figure out that plan, Bryce Williams becomes critical. Rink Mast has to do more scoring. He's really fallen off with his scoring and really rebounding prior to that Michigan State game. And so they have other guys that are capable, but in my opinion, Keisei's still the face of that offense. And when he's going, Nebraska is a different team, and everybody is better because of it.
That's definitely true. Yeah.
I would like to see more. I would like to see more shots from Bryce Williams. Honestly, like when he hit that big three on Sunday night, and he just kind of rose and it looked natural to him. I found myself thinking, man, I kind of like the ball in his hands. Obviously, Gary, Juwan Gary has been sort of a revelation over these last couple games. He was really good against Michigan State, who is a physical team. Like as the schedule changes too, and you mentioned the physicality that teams are sort of using with Casey right now. I kind of like where Nebraska's at just in terms of their bodies, that they don't have a whole lot of depth. It's and not that it's that crazy compared to, most teams around the country are playing 8-9 guys. Nebraska is probably right in that category, but I think I sort of like their bodies and how they're able to sort of put up with a lengthier physical Big Ten conference with what they have.
Yeah, really the drawback right now is one, finding a way to let Casey be Casey with the way that teams are defending him, and then two, they got to get more stability out of their point guard spot.
Yeah.
Jamarcus Lawrence has just been as Tim Miles used to say, an EKG, where he'll have these really promising highs and then have these baffling lows where he just makes really poor decisions with the ball. And his turnovers, 7 turnovers against Minnesota. That's a problem because they don't have really any other options. And so, against Michigan State, you saw Sam Hoiberg take on a much bigger role and playing a lot more point guard. I mentioned Casey potentially being another option there. And what's interesting is Jerron Coleman didn't play at all. I think he's played a combined 4 minutes over the last 2 games.
I'm fine with the Hoiberg to Coleman trade, by the way.
Yeah, well, Sam's earned it. There's not a guy that plays harder on the team than Sam Hoiberg. And so when you have a guy that has that effort and that basketball IQ, that's really all you need in a point guard. So, that's, I think, a big reason why, he's probably going to continue to have a bigger role in that regard, especially with Jamarcus still kind of trying to figure out that role, which, has been well documented how this is, a new thing for him, that he really just started diving into this offseason. Clearly, that's very much a work in progress. And so until that kind of gets leveled out and you get it more game-to-game stability out of him, it's kind of all hands on deck. And I would expect Sam Hoiberg and maybe Casey to pick up more of the slack in that regard.
So if they're able to, even if they don't win against Kansas State on Sunday, you get North Dakota and South Carolina State, a couple bye games coming out in between, over Christmas and New Year's, basically. And you would go into the new year, basically, at worst 10-3. That feels like a success, right? Even if you do go 1-3 in this stretch in between Creighton and K-State.
Yeah, I think 10-3 would be what you like if you were assuming Nebraska was going to be pretty good this year. That would kind of just be the
right
most commonly assumed projection.
10-3 or 11-2 with the Minnesota thing.
11-2 is big, I think. That's what makes this game Sunday so important for them, because for one, just the game itself and what it means for their resume, but two, to be 11-2, and then you have the opportunity to have a 4-game winning streak going into January, where you got Indiana, who's kind of been up and down this year, coming to town. So there's just a lot of momentum that can be gained especially with where things were coming off that Minnesota game. All of a sudden, if you win this game Sunday and then you take care of business in your next 2, then all of a sudden those good vibes that you built up at the first part of the season are starting to come back going into January. And It's been a long, long time since Nebraska's had momentum going into January. So, there's a lot to be said of that. We talk about with football all the time. The same applies for basketball, where, if you get hot at the right time, that can take you places. And so, again, the table is set. That's what this whole non-conference schedule is about. But if you can't continue to miss out on opportunities when they're there, and Sundays is another big one.
Yeah, you're right about the late versus early season momentum. I'd like to see it once, because we haven't seen it. It's right around this time of the year where Nebraska's getting beat up. And
the last time they had it was 2000. Miles' last
18.
year, 2018-19.
Yep.
When they whipped Oklahoma, they whipped Creighton, and everything was great. They were a top 25 team. Then Isaac Copeland gets hurt, and the season completely imploded.
Yeah, even when they went to the NCAA tournament in 14, I mean, they were really struggling in December, January.
They were 8-8.
Yeah,
8-8, and they caught fire, lightning in a bottle.
Yep. So it'd be a nice little change of pace if they can go into the new year with an 11-2 record. That's what they're aiming for.
Especially with what the Big Ten is right now. I mean,
sure.
Nebraska's right in it. Like, somebody in our chat asked me for my Big Ten power rankings. I have Nebraska at 7th. I mean, they're right in the thick of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't look around the league and I see anybody. I mean, Purdue is obviously Purdue. Wisconsin's had a great start to their season. Illinois is always going to be there.
Yeah.
Is there? I'm not terrified of anybody else.
Yeah,
I don't care what you tell me. I'm never going to be scared of Northwestern.
They're pretty good. They beat Purdue.
I know. They can make the NCAA tournament 20 years in a row. I'll be like, yeah, Northwestern.
I understand what you're saying, but like, that being said, like that's the team you're talking about is maybe your third or fourth best team in the conference. So like, why is Nebraska that much further behind? That. I mean, they don't have an All-American on their roster, but that being said, that this is why this season is so important. And the table has never been better set, and so now it's time to take advantage.
No doubt. Thanks, Robin. We'll let you go, and we'll talk to you later.
Sounds good. See you.
Robin Washington of HuskerOnline.com. By the way, we were talking about Daniel Kalen in there a little bit. We could touch on this more later. Mike Schaefer, Husker 24/7 reported this morning that Daniel Kalen is expected to visit Michigan State this weekend in lieu of the news. I mean, if that, so there's positives and negatives, right? And we'll talk about this with Mitch in a second. Like, if that news gets out there and it's expected, and Daniel Kalen is calling around and he's asking, hey, is there a place where I can come and visit? And you guys were interested before, and he doubles back. And he calls Michigan State, gets a hold of Michigan State and Jonathan Smith and their new coaching staff, and they're looking to take a quarterback in 2024. Like, if he's being proactive in that move, that would probably tell you that things are relatively well cinched up with the quarterback who would be replacing him for Nebraska in the 2024 class. That would probably point that direction. On the other side, the negative is, like, I think, like I said, he's a local kid. He did everything right. But I really do think, and I don't know Daniel, but like, I do think there has been this kind of understanding. And even when we talked to him when he was doing the tour in the summer and really getting his heels dug in and peer recruiting and stuff like that, he peer recruited a lot of players in this class, Carter Nelson, like, chiefly amongst them. But like, when he was talking about it, I got the vibe from him and the feel from him and the understanding that he knew that Nebraska's pursuit of Dylan Raiola was sort of bigger than him. Like, I got the sense that he sort of knew that and understood that.
Yeah.
He might not be happy about it. I don't know. But if Nebraska's only taken one, then it's obviously, we know which one they're going to take given the option. So there's positives and negatives with that. We can talk about that a little bit later.
A lot of moving parts.
Definitely a lot of moving parts. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show, and we will bring it up with Mitch Sherman of The Athletic, who's on the Nebraska Creighton TMZ beat this week. Just kidding, Mitch. We'll come back with Mitch Sherman next on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call in the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Here's a little Christmas tip. Never ask Santa for adult beverages. Seriously, can you imagine the legal implications of carrying quality, locally brewed Nebraska beer or cider while flying a sleigh? So if you want your family and friends to gift you some Nebraska brewed awesomeness, ask and ye shall receive. Your local Nebraska Brewers Guild wants you to know that local brewers are currently working on special seasonal brews to make your holiday get-togethers merry and bright. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from the Nebraska Craft Brewers Guild.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope, and they're fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make it fun and engaging, so you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life. You can choose from topics like travel, business, relationships, and more. You'll learn what matters most to you. Plus, Babbel's lessons are designed to get you speaking right away. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations.
Just 3 weeks? Even better.
Since Babbel's lessons are designed by language experts and voiced by real native speakers, you'll get the accents just right and be able to carry on conversations with confidence.
Learning a language with Babbel doesn't take long.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Start learning a new language today. Go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
When it comes to protecting your home, J. Stennett Contracting takes pride in ensuring every detail is handled. Roofing, siding, gutters. When it comes to the exterior of your home, J. Stennett Contracting has you covered. This fall, consider gutter guards to block debris and prevent clogs and save you the hassle of regular maintenance. Schedule a consultation today and let J. Stennett Contracting's expert team and durable gutter guards ensure your gutters are working properly in every season. J. Stennett Contracting. We have you covered. JSCRestoration.com.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The brand new Dollar General Distribution Center in Blair is now hiring. Starting wage is up to $22 per hour with benefits including medical, dental, vision, 401k, and a $2,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Again, apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Dollar General can't wait to have you become a team member at their brand new distribution center.
Brace yourself for the ultimate holiday deal with Consumer Cellular. Snag an incredible 50% off the Iris Flip when you buy before December 17th, making it only $34.50. The Iris Flip is all the phone and camera you need with a user-friendly design, the perfect flip phone companion. Plus, you'll get nationwide coverage and always free activation. Score 50% off when you use promo code RADIO50. Head over to consumercellular.com and use promo code RADIO50 during checkout to score this deal.
John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air is now open in Omaha, and we are looking for experienced plumbers and HVAC technicians to join our team. We offer company-paid employee health insurance, provide a company truck with innovative technology, and so much more. We will have open interviews Mondays and Wednesdays at our new location, 9321 J Street. Learn more at calljh.com/careers or call
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing.
Who do you want to talk about first?
Mitch Sherman, The Athletic.
He can play, and we need people that can play.
And we'll never be royal. Let me live that fantasy.
Are you?
I'm doing pretty well, Connor. How are you?
Pretty good. Just what's our mode right now? We just sitting around waiting?
Yeah, I mean, if we're just in recruiting portal mode, there's nothing at the moment to react to. It's just kind of in waiting mode. We're continuing to see a lot of It's like if a volcano is about to go off and there's like little tremors coming from the earth. That's kind of the mode we're in right now. Lots of cryptic social media posts from members of the Nebraska support staff and even the full-time coaches and some recruits. We're just waiting for Matt Rule to start dropping emojis, and then like complete chaos ensues.
Yeah, I think we're getting awfully close to that. Lots of side-eye emojis that are out there, and there will be plenty of GIFs as we head toward the weekend. What is your, I guess, what do you understand about how Nebraska got back into the mix with Dylan Raiola?
You're not the first person to ask me that, and I hate to disappoint you in saying that. I don't know. Dylan and Camp Raiola have not spoken publicly about this. So, everything, even more so, there's not information out there that's being sourced. Like, it's all fairly quiet.
Yep.
On the Raiola front, like the information has come out that he's back in with Nebraska, talking with Nebraska, visiting Nebraska this weekend, but it's not him or his people saying that publicly. But we know it's happening because Nebraska coaches have talked with other recruits in this class about this development, and it's obviously caused a huge stir. And we know that Dylan himself has been in communication with some members of the Nebraska football team, current and possibly future. And so it's happening underneath the surface. But as far as why, I mean, it's really all just left to speculation at this point. And you have to consider and take into account that there's a lot of factors in college football recruiting that exist today that didn't exist 3 or 4 years ago. And that complicates all of these situations, especially when you're talking about a 5-star quarterback.
Yeah.
It's a high stakes game. You can't just ignore that. I mean, you can't look at this through the same lens in recruiting that we would have with Adrian Martinez when he was being recruited, because it's just a completely different landscape to have the NIL opportunities and the resources that these schools and their collectives have to help entice players of this stature. Maybe it's not as big of a deal for many of the players in the 2024 recruiting class, but it is for top players from the portal and top recruits coming into college. So, and that stuff is even more difficult to really get to the bottom of, because it operates in a just such an underground kind of way, at least underground with eyes that the public has on it. So we're not going behind the scenes in the boardrooms into these discussions that take place about NIL in the offices of 1890 or at other venues in other college towns when recruits come on campus. So, but I think people have to understand that that's a piece of the puzzle.
A couple different ways to look at this, but do you think Nebraska maybe wishes, or Matt Rule wishes that the timing on this, the timeline from when the tremors began would have been maybe around now or even a little bit later in the week, or maybe Dylan just shows up over the weekend and is like, "Hi, I'm here and I'm here to sign," or whatever it might be. There's that, and that way you could have maybe avoided the concern maybe of this week, but that seems a little bit more external. On the other side, there is the Daniel Kalen sort of cause and effect of all this. And one thing it has done for him is given him a little bit more time to explore options if he needs to do that. I know he's going to, Schaefer reported that he's going to make a visit this week to Michigan State over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I guess, how do you, in an ideal world, did it play out? Do you think how they imagined it would, or does it all not matter at the end of the day because they might eventually get Dylan Raiola?
Yeah, I mean, that's the bottom line is you want to be able to get the guy who's at the top of your board. And he, until he committed to Georgia, he was not just primary target number one at quarterback, but in the entire scheme of the 2024 recruiting class. And that's while he was technically off the board that didn't necessarily change. I mean, in an ideal world, nobody's done until the recruiting's not done until signing day. I don't know how that Nebraska was having active conversations with Dylan Raiola all through this time. It'll be fascinating to find out, if Matt Rule goes into detail about it, and he may not. He may protect the family and not want to talk about how all of this went down, and but he's generally pretty transparent, and I think he'll, at least if Dylan signs with Nebraska next week, give us a general overview of what kind of communication they had and just how the relationship progressed, even over the time that he was committed to Georgia. And it's easier in this kind of a situation than it is with really any other player in Dylan's spot, because you have his uncle on staff, and because his dad is just so much a part of the fabric of Nebraska football. I mean, anytime Dominic Raiola wants to get a straight answer about where Nebraska stands on something, he can be talking to someone in 10 seconds. So, as for the timing, I mean, ideally, if he was going to flip back, or I shouldn't say back, because he was never committed to Nebraska, although it kind of seemed like he was in the spring.
Kind of did, yeah.
You would have liked it to happen earlier. One, because then it gives somebody like Danny Kaelin an opportunity to really look at his options, whether it's to stick with Nebraska, and he can sign, and Nebraska's going to put him on scholarship, but he has to determine if that's the best thing for him, and Nebraska has to determine how it's going to play that card too. They can go to Danny Kaelin and say, "Hey, look, we're going to honor your scholarship. So here's the paperwork. We look forward to hearing from you on Wednesday." And that's not really a ringing endorsement for how they feel about him. Or they can make a compelling case about why it's best for him to stick with Nebraska. I mean, stuff happens at the quarterback position. Injuries happen. Transfers happen. All kinds of stuff happens. And players who are deep on the depth chart end up being the starters. Just look at the situation at Georgia, where Dylan was committed to for the last 6 or 7 months. I mean, they're not winning national championships with 5-star quarterbacks. They're doing it with guys who, in the case of the past couple of years, came as walk-ons into the program. So if Nebraska wants to make that case to Daniel Kaelin, I think that would go a long way toward kind of soothing some of the concerns that he might have about this. But they don't have to. They can choose how they're going to spin it with him. But yeah, I mean, also on the timing, as you mentioned, if it hadn't come out when Kyle McCord was in town on a visit as a potential portal QB, that might have been a little bit more. It might have just been a little less chaotic.
Yeah,
right. A little more structured. And you don't the players, the parties involved don't necessarily have a lot of timing often in these situations as far as when the news leaks. So. I don't think it was Nebraska necessarily, or even Raiola and his side of things, that leaked it to the recruiting reporters who put it out on social media Monday night.
Obviously, a lot of credit would, and we're speaking about this hypothetically, but almost as if it's going to happen, which seems, I don't know if you would categorize it as a formality at this point. Anything could happen, but it feels like at least we're trending that way. A ton of
nothing's a formality with the Raiolas. I mean,
right.
And I mean that with all due respect. I mean, I was told early in the process, and I visited with Dylan and Dominic and their family in Phoenix early this year, and I was told early in the process that this is not like a normal recruiting situation. They're very mobile, and that's why he's been able to move from Texas to Arizona and to Georgia. And you'd think if you move to the state where the school is located that you're committed to, then you're as good as signed. But that's never really been the case with them. And he's been committed to Ohio State, and he's still committed to Georgia. But it's there's always been, I think, that understanding that he is somewhat different as a recruit.
A lot of if it goes through like the way we think it is, a lot of credit would go to the staff and. But you mentioned it, like it's not like they've been in constant contact since it. One might be able to categorize it as a thing that sort of just, kind of fell into Nebraska's lap at the right place at the right time at the end. That couldn't have happened if they didn't, work as hard at it at the beginning and develop relationship as they did at the beginning. But we've oftentimes talked about coaches around here, new coaches around here, getting breaks or not getting breaks. This could be potentially the biggest break that I mean, I would categorize it that way. The way it feels to me and how it sort of all came to be, this could be one of the biggest breaks that any coach, I guess, post Osborne or whatever, has gotten.
It could be, yeah, but we're a long ways from him, stepping into the starting position and leading Nebraska down the field with 2 minutes left on the clock to beat Wisconsin or Oregon. I mean, that's several steps ahead of where we're at, and we've often been tricked into thinking over the last 20 years that Nebraska had found the answer to its problems, only to get led back into more heartbreak. So I don't think it's a great idea to just to count this as the biggest win that Nebraska's had in the post Osborne era. We have to see it happen on the field, and maybe it will next fall. Maybe it'll be 25, or maybe it's this is not to be.
With Kyle McCord, everything. I mean, once again, kind of just sitting around and waiting for the volcano to erupt, I suppose. But like, I couldn't have imagined it working at it if it goes the way we think it's going to go. If it's McCord for next year, and then it's Dylan Raiola after that, that's a pretty good setup. How do you think things came to be with McCord? And I mean, he had plenty of suitors in the transfer portal. He has an interesting situation and leaving an 11-win team from last year. Like, what do you think Kyle McCord wanted or wants in his next stop?
Yeah, that's a little bit more. I think that's a little bit more in focus than the Raiola situation. Again, NIL is a big thing, and Nebraska is a school that is positioned like a heavyweight with NIL. But as far as like the expectations and what's going to be placed on your shoulders as a quarterback, I mean, I think Kyle McCord leaving Ohio State after feeling unappreciated on a team where he went 11-1, and he's not the reason that Ohio State lost at Michigan on the Saturday after Thanksgiving. It was a 30-24 game. I mean, he didn't throw the game away, and I'm sure the way that unfolded and the aftermath of that, and with Ryan Day saying nothing's guaranteed for 2024, it clearly left him with a bad taste in his mouth, or he'd still be with the Buckeyes. So it makes sense that he would want to look for a program where maybe things were just dialed back a little bit more realistic. And if you won 8 or 9 games at Nebraska in his lone season, he'd be looked at as a hero. So it makes sense for him to want to look at a program where that's kind of the landscape, the situation. But Nebraska might be one of the few programs where you can have that kind of expectation and still play with the big boys when it comes to the resources that they have. So it makes sense from that point of view, with obvious connection, and being from just on the New Jersey side of the New Jersey-Pennsylvania border, and having gone to high school at St. Joe's Prep, where Matt Rule recruited heavily when he was a coach in Pennsylvania, and even recruited out of there from his spot in Texas when he was at Baylor, and then went to Pennsylvania last year. One of the first places that he prioritized when he came in and had to build a recruiting class in a short period of time was to get players from Pennsylvania. I mean, while they haven't struck gold in Pennsylvania in the 24 class, you're going to see Nebraska continue to go back to that part of the country. And I don't know exactly what it is, and we'll have to find this out too if McCord ends up at Nebraska, but there must be some ties, some connections between not just Rule, but others on his staff, and then people who were in the orbit of McCord and St. Joseph's Prep.
Hey, so does Baylor Shireman get back from Vegas tonight and then go straight to Tampa for the game tomorrow?
Well, I mean, Creighton's got to play Alabama on Saturday night.
Yeah, so I think they'll probably have something light tomorrow. Maybe he could just squeeze out.
Baylor and his roommate Francisco Farabello are going to be sitting in front of a TV watching the volleyball Final Four and cheering on Allie Badenhorst.
That's awesome.
If people wonder what you're talking about, you can just go check it out on The Athletic today. I wrote the kind of story that I said I would never want to write.
I know.
I really haven't ever delved into this kind of stuff, but the interesting thing is, to give you a little bit of background about why I chose to write about Baylor and Allie, who are romantically linked, and is because they seem to be having fun with it, and they're not. First of all, they're not 19 years old. I'm not going to do that to an 18 or 19-year-old, but we're talking about a 23 and a 21-year-old, and they've had fun with it, and it's been picked up by fans and the media, and people see Baylor at at Nebraska volleyball games, and I've seen Allie cheering for him at PBA when Creighton came in and he scored 20 points in the first half and blew kisses to the crowd. So there's a lot there. And then when I reached out through Creighton to Baylor, the reply that I got back was that they did not think that Baylor would be interested in that. He wasn't just he wanted to do it. Baylor was more than willing to sit down and talk about not just about Allie. We talked about Nebraska as a whole, and you know, he was a great quarterback in Aurora, and how he he would have come to Nebraska if the situation was right, either in basketball or in football. But instead, he went to South Dakota State to play basketball, and the rest is history. So, fun story, and he will be watching. He'll be watching Thursday night, and hoping for Nebraska to make it to Sunday.
I was sitting there thinking, I was reading through the story and sort of imagining what your line of questioning was, and then I thought I would have dug myself in way too deep of a hole, and we would have ended up talking about stuff that probably didn't need to be talked about out loud. And so you did a good job of navigating it
for a long time. I mean, you know, from watching him play, that he's just a super engaging personality, and I like watching him play. With if you're not a fan of Creighton, you probably don't like watching him play, but as an impartial observer, he's a fun player to watch. And it's cool that he's from the state of Nebraska and has had all the success in college that he's had. And, I think he's going to be in the NBA next year.
Yeah. Mitch Sherman of The Athletic. You can check out the story at theathletic.com. All right, Mitch, appreciate the time as always. And we'll talk to you later.
All right. Thanks, Connor.
Mitch Sherman of The Athletic. You can check out the story about Baylor Shireman and Allie Batenhorst, the first couple of the state of Nebraska. Creighton basketball, Nebraska volleyball. Right there.
Uniting the J-Skers.
And
then the Pures.
I'm sure, Peter, this will definitely unite the J-Skers.
An effort
now
to
that
unite.
If that was the angle of the story, now that would have been a story that, that's a code that nobody can crack.
Yeah.
There's no logic in that situation. I'd like to see somebody attempt to do it. Maybe they would be two great people to take the chance and say, you know what, here's what we're doing. J-Skers are okay. J-Skers are cool.
We're going public.
That topic was not broached in the story by Mitch, but it was still a good one on theathletic.com. All right, we'll come back. Peterman has the odd news. Don't forget to get your questions in for the tweet bag, which is coming up here in just a few minutes as well at Happer Show on the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed or anywhere else you'd like to get in touch with the show. We got $50 to Cops. You get your question in, you'll have a chance to win some pizza or wings or whatever else you want to buy at Cops Pizza. Peter's got the odd news first next on 1620 The Zone.
Previously on The Crossover.
I want to hear the thank you at the end of it, too.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. When you order a Big Mac at McDonald's.
No, thank you.
Thank you, caller Connor.
Good job, Connor.
No, thank you.
Maybe it was Connor Stallion.
No, that could have been.
Mornings with Sharp and Hanley. The Connor Happer Show. Unsportsmanlike conduct. 6A to 6P. 1620. The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Well, it's going to be a warm next couple days. Your Wednesday afternoon, temperatures getting up into the mid-40s. Mostly clear skies overnight. Tomorrow morning, cold outside, a temperature in the 20s, but warming nicely throughout the day to a high temperature in the low 50s. I'm meteorologist Luke Vickery, KETV Newswatch 7.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call in the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Suicide can be prevented by knowing the warning signs. And most importantly, knowing what to do if you recognize those signs in yourself, a loved one, or even a stranger. There are simple ways you can be there for someone, so they can be here for more tomorrows. Visit moretomorrowsne.org to learn the signs, how to approach the conversation, and where to get help. Or call 988 for help now. That's moretomorrowsne.org.
Creighton Sports Update.
Hey Blue Jay fans, it's basketball season here at Creighton, so get your tickets and come out and support your Blue Jays. For tickets, go to Ticketmaster.com, gocreighton.com/tickets, or visit the ticket office located at Ryan Athletic Center. And that's your Creighton Sports Update.
1620 The Zone proudly supports Creighton Athletics.
Experience Omaha's first Indian restaurant and brewery. Jaipur has created delicious Indian food and brews, from the tandoori salmon to the chicken tikka makhani. Jaipur has something for every palate. 2 locations, Rockbrook and Dundee. Come see why Jaipur has been voted first place best of Omaha 18 years in a row.
Happy holidays from your friends at DJ's Dugout. Nick Handley here. DJ's is truly an Omaha tradition to gather with family and friends during the holidays to watch sports, enjoy delicious food, and have a great time. And a DJ's gift card is a great holiday gift idea, too. Thank you for voting DJ's your #1 sports bar again this year in the Best of Omaha Awards. DJ's Dugout is locally and Vietnam veteran-owned. Dig in at the Dugout.
Take your home to the next level with Level countertops, cabinets, and flooring. If you have a kitchen, bath, or closet that is completely dysfunctional, now is the time to make them functional. Level countertops, cabinets, and flooring is your expert for taking your home to the next level. The staff will listen to your needs and dreams and create a unique space specifically for you and your family. Visit the showroom at 192nd and West Maple or online at levelomaha.com. That's levelomaha.com.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's got to be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Experience Omaha's first Indian restaurant and brewery. Jaipur has created delicious Indian food and brews, from the tandoori salmon to the chicken tikka makhani. Jaipur has something for every palate. 2 locations, Rockbrook and Dundee. Come see why Jaipur has been voted first place best of Omaha 18 years in a row.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
All right, once again, get your questions in for the tweet bag coming up in just a few short minutes. But first, Peterman has the odd news.
Hey, Peterman. The odd news of the day.
What's going on?
So, okay, at the end of this, there's going to be a fun little segue from one of the odd news bits of yesterday, which is just great timing, in my opinion.
Oh, good.
So, we're going to kick this one off today with some holiday odd news. So, have you ever seen those just extravagant, over-the-top light displays that some people will do in their neighborhoods, like just at their own house, just like synced up to music, the whole 9 yards?
Yes.
So I guess there's a family in New York that has broken world records with their annual display that they do at their house. And when I see those, I always think, what do the neighbors think?
Good question.
Because they can't all be on board with it. And
like the neighbor on Christmas vacation.
Yeah. The tree
like
smashing through the window. Yeah. And this is kind of right in line with that. So this year, this family's display has over 700,000 total lights. And it's about as over the top as you would think and how it sounds. And yeah, the neighbors are kind of getting sick of it. And one of them was quoted saying, "It's essentially running a Legoland out of your property for 40 days. And
if it was really if it was bothering me, now I live in a neighborhood where I don't do much. I don't think my neighbors do much either. Like it's pretty quiet. It's pretty dark. It's pretty Scroogey on my street, but I'm okay with that. But if there was one like across the street and they just decided to blow the whole thing up, they went all out. And it was actually bothering me. Like it prevented my ability to sleep, or there was noise coming from it all the time. I think we'd probably have to have a conversation. We'd have to say, it's like, look, I would just go over there and be like, hey, look around,
Like,
man.
I get it.
Like, look around. I get you're excited for Christmas, but like, look around, see what everybody else is doing, read the room a little bit, and maybe just tone it back. Like, I get it, you love Christmas.
You don't have to tear it all down.
I love
but...
Christmas too.
Well, so town supervisor Betsy C. Mass said there's no local ordinances giving the town the power to stop the display, and officials have no current plans to rein it in. Are you going to be the one to get rid of Santa? She said.
Wow.
And then the guy who actually puts it together, who lives there, if you bring joy and happiness to 50,000 people and you have 10 or 20 that don't like it, I think that's a fair trade-off, because I guess the cars are just driving through. They know that this family does this. So, and that's I guess there's trash all over the place, people driving through. And...
What a nuisance. I want to keep as many people out of my neighborhood that don't usually come in my neighborhood at all times.
Like, you get home from work, you don't want a bunch of people littering the street and
no,
24/7.
I want nothing on my street. I want no lights. I don't want any cars out there. I want to be unimpeded and unbothered. It's my home. It's my house. And there's some people who do this as like an event every year. I assume this is one of them, where like they'll put it, or sometimes they'll publish it in the paper. I think they publish it in the paper, or they publish it on the news, and they're like, here are the houses that you can go to. And I remember, I don't know if the Today Show still does it, but I remember they did their whole tour.
Yeah.
I know they stopped in Nebraska a couple times. Just like, my advice would be, maybe I'm a Scrooge a little bit, but like, get a better hobby. Find some better things to spend your money on.
Let's do regular lights.
You don't need to spend 700. You don't have 700,000 lights on your house. It's unbelievable.
Pushing 1 million.
Yep. Time to get a new hobby.
I'm sure that'll be their goal eventually, is to get 1 million lights.
Imagine the things that you could have spent your money on rather than the lights. Even if it was just a few lights, even if it was just a medium amount of lights, you could have had many dollars left over. All right.
Maybe they'll make some cookies and give them to the neighbors.
I mean, at that point, you kind of have to. Like,
I feel like
if you're going there and it's an event, like you kind of owe it at that point.
So we were talking about the TSA pre-check and the crossover earlier. Some airline odd news. A Russian man apparently flew from Denmark to LA. The catch is he never had a ticket or a passport, and so he got charged with a federal crime.
What? How's that his fault?
And
he's going to get stopped at security.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how on earth this guy made it through? So I guess there was an open seat on the plane that was supposed to be unoccupied, and he just sat in the seat.
Yeah, but like, how do you get on the plane?
I looked through this whole thing. Nobody has a single answer, and the guy doesn't even fully remember why he was on the plane.
Now there are. I don't know exactly how it works, but like when you go through, you've gone through security. Obviously, he had a ticket to somewhere, right? Because he went through security and he had to show his boarding pass. But like, I've often wondered, what if I just got on that plane? What if I just got on another plane? Now you have to show your pass when you go to hop on the plane, but when they scan it, like, what is it? They kind of shift you through really fast.
I would be curious to know if you just scanned it at a different terminal, would they just let you in?
I don't know. That's a little bit of a scary thought.
That's kind of seems like what may have happened here, because this guy, they interviewed him. He doesn't even know why he was on the plane. Like, he seems like he was out of it and just had no recollection of how he actually got through. Because no passport, no ticket to a specific flight. And there was one snippet in here that was so funny. Oh yeah, they said he was just sporadically getting up out of his seat throughout the flight and tried to eat the chocolate belonging to the crew. So
this guy
had a adventure.
Guy has some he's got some cojones.
Yeah,
he just really went for it.
It's like, I'm not supposed to be here.
That's a little disconcerting.
But I am kind of hungry.
It's a little disconcerting, Peter.
It's strange.
I don't want things to go wrong at airports. It's just it's never comforting when somebody gets away with something at an airport.
Yeah, it said it ends with, he told officials he might have had a plane ticket to come to the U.S., but he was not sure. Yeah. Didn't remember how he got through security in Copenhagen, and would not explain what he was doing in the Scandinavian city.
Yikes.
Very odd.
Anything else?
So this is the fun little segue from yesterday, because we talked about Michael K having an egg for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have more egg odd news. 2 semis had a head-on collision. And
truck spill of the week?
truck spill of the week, and guess what was on board?
Eggs.
A lot of eggs.
Eggs.
And they had to shut down the highway for a little while they cleaned up the egg catastrophe.
Is that why they shut down the interstate yesterday or a couple days ago in between Omaha and Lincoln?
Wouldn't that be something? Hey, I'm going to be a little late. There's eggs everywhere.
There's just eggs all over the road. I did see another thing from Michael K yesterday. So he also did this thing where he decided to join TikTok.
Oh.
From his, he tweeted it out. And I was like, man, what a big day for Michael K.
That's his first day, and then he joins
TikTok. All of a sudden, he's a Gen Zer.
He's a new man.
Truck spill of the week. We haven't had one in a while. Good.
Yeah, everyone's okay. There was no major injuries, so that's good. But
just injuries to the eggs.
Just injuries to all these delicate eggs that
were cracked.
Comedically flopped all over the highway.
Love it. Put it on the list. We have many truck spills of the week, and eggs is probably a pretty tame one compared to what we've seen.
Yeah, we've seen
so far this year. But we could do at the end of the year like the top 5 truck spills that we've covered on the show, because there have been a lot of them. All right, Peter, man, thank you.
All right, so there we are.
That is indeed the odd news. The tweet bag is coming up next. Feel free to get in your questions. We could always use more, and get your name in the hat for $50 to Cops Pizza. We will do that when we return on 1620 The Zone. But first, a quick reminder from our friends from the FanDuel Sportsbook. That is right. Your season's wishes are coming true, and it's from FanDuel. $150 in bonus bets with any $5 money line bet. That's $150 if your team wins. Let's take a close look at tomorrow. The money line favorite is minus 148. That's the Las Vegas Raiders going up against backup quarterback Easton Stick and the Chargers. Or maybe you're an Easton Stick fan and you're like, you know what? I'm going to money line bet the Chargers tomorrow. I certainly wouldn't, that game could go either way. Pick the money line winner, put $5 on it. You get $150 in bonus bets. And then you'll find when you go to FanDuel.com/Happer or you go into the app, there is plenty more to bet. Spreads, player props, over-unders, anytime touchdown scorers. You could cook up a same-game parlay. Plenty of options under the tree for you this holiday season. FanDuel.com/Happer and get in on that sweet, sweet NFL action with FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. 21 and over, present in Iowa. First online real money wager only. $5 pregame money line wager required. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is now withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Now live on Twitch, YouTube, and 1620thezone.com.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? A man age 50 non-tobacco user can obtain $500,000 of coverage for as little as $110 per month. Level rate for 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rate for 20 years. If you're a smoker, there are great rates available for you as well. Call Term Busters for a quote. 1-800-908-7636. You're probably paying more than you should. Call 1-800-908-7636. Remember, call Term Busters. 1-800-908-7636. Sample rate for preferred non-tobacco rate class. Exam required to qualify.
Dear Santa, I hope you are having a good day in the North Pole. Is it cold all the time there? Is that why our teachers are so rosy? My mom says I'm a good helper, but you didn't come last year. Was my chimney broken? I just really hope this year when I wake up, I'm gonna see that you came to my house too. Wow.
Donate and help the Marines deliver hope to a child in need.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Williamsburg Pizza is famous in New York, and it's about to be famous in Omaha. Why? Williamsburg Pizza uses chow tomatoes from Italy, local Italian sausage, and 100% all-natural mozzarella. Then there's Nino's award-winning fermented dough. What comes out of their oven is pizza made fresh, made delicious, made for you. How it should be. Come taste the difference of the recipes created by Nino Coniglio. Williamsburg Pizza, southwest corner of 168th and Harrison, next to Jimmy John's, or williamsburgpizza.com.
Attention sales professionals. NRG Media is looking for an accomplished business-to-business salesperson who wants to take their success and skills to a new level. Is this you? Our account executives work with local businesses to create marketing plans to help them get more customers. On air, digital, on-site, audio, video, it's all part of what you could sell. A sales career with NRG lets you make a real difference. Get more info and apply online at nrgmedia.com. NRG Media is an equal opportunity employer.
Car repair is car repair. Most places you go can change your oil or fix your brakes. The difference is the experience you'll get at Omaha Car Care. We're part of the community. We were born here, and we believe that our relationship with you should be built to last. We're going to consult you, not sell you. We're going to give you a free loaner car. We're going to treat you like a valued friend that we want to continue to see in the years to come. I'm Rick Betker, owner of Omaha Car Care, and we'll be along for the ride.
This year, be sure your giving includes the Heart Ministry Center. Located at 24th and Binney, Heart Ministry Center provides food, health care, and a way forward to people severely affected by poverty in Omaha. Your donation helps make all we do possible. Please visit us online at heartministrycenter.org. You can also take a tour or volunteer. You'll see just what it means to be part of the Heart. Heart Ministry Center, dignity for all.
Let it fly. Your elevated sports bar experience. KOZ and Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620, The Zone.
This is the Tweet Bag. You send your questions in and we answer them. Like no other radio segment ever. It's the Tweet Bag on the Connor Happer Show.
A quick reminder before we get into the tweet bag, get your College Bowl Pick'em picks in on our website, 1620thezone.com. Could be some prizes coming your way if you're able to win the College Bowl Pick'em. Make your picks in every bowl game, but do it before the deadline ends this Friday. People forget about bowl games around here. We're trying to remind people. Just get back in the swing of things.
Lots of ones to pick from.
Yeah, next year, Nebraska will be preparing for a bowl game.
It's happening.
And, I know I predicted that about 7 times this year, but next year around this time, Nebraska will be preparing for a bowl game. So get your picks in this year. And that will prime you for it. But it is time for the tweet bag. Let's do this thing. So at Happer Show on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed, I also have a few emails that we could get to. You could also submit your questions or your thoughts via the text line or on the YouTube stream as well. If you enter in a question, you are immediately entered into a drawing to potentially win $50 to Cops Pizza. That's the half off deal this week, by the way. So you could buy it for $25 on Friday, which is a great deal, or you can get it for $0 today if you just ask a question. That's an even better deal if we're going to be completely honest. All right, let's get to the tweets first, since it is a tweet bag after all. Here is Michael. Peter, you feel free to answer these questions however you see fit as well.
Let's do it.
Connor, other than the Nebraska Tunnel Walk, who has the best team entrance for a college football game? Okay, so I'm going to try and not be so biased here. I don't think Nebraska has the best entrance in college football, by the way.
I would echo that.
Okay.
It is very cool. It's a great tradition. I don't know if it's the best.
Gotta love when everybody's all fired up at a Virginia Tech night game.
That was going to be my number one. Enter Sandman.
I do like Clemson rolling down from the hill, and Dabo running out there. That's kind of cool.
It does surprise me. It does surprise me with that one that more people don't tumble over.
Same.
It seems like just a disaster waiting to happen.
It absolutely does. I think that every time too. But if it's unique like that, like Nebraska's tunnel walk is unique because they were so good. Like it's like, oh, it's Nebraska, it's the tunnel walk, and Nebraska's fan situation is so unique because there are so many of them always, right? And you go into the sea of red. But what Nebraska does to enter the field is not unique. They play a song that was made popular by the Bulls, and then they run out onto the field out of a normal tunnel. I do appreciate the new twist put in this year, and I know Nebraska struggled with the timing on it a little bit. The garage door coming over from the new facility, like that, I thought that was kind of a cool look. They used to be open the doors, so now there's like a couple checkpoints where they hit. Let's see, others off the top of my head, cool entrances in college football. Those are the first couple that came to my head.
I don't know if it really would qualify. I really like the South Carolina with the Gamecock.
What do they do?
What's the song? Is it Darude Sandstorm? Yeah, I don't know if that really counts. I don't know if they take the field to it, but the Gamecock is in the cage in the middle of the field.
Oh, that's cool.
It's pretty cool.
But War Eagle is sweet.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Like anything with a live animal, as much as I hate to say it, Ralphie is pretty dope.
Yeah, anything live animal's cool.
Dude, seriously.
It's just naturally
imagine
cool.
running out of the field behind a buffalo. That's pretty cool.
And it did produce one of the more iconic photos of Nebraska's history.
Of course. Like let's just be let's try to take our biases out of this. Nebraska's entrance onto their field. All right. Nebraska's entrance onto their field is pretty mid. It's pretty mid. It's cool. It gets you fired up because your team's coming out on the field. But compared to others, I mean, it's not unique really at all.
Yeah. That's fair.
You don't have to agree with me on this, Peter. If you disagree, it's fine. I know many people will.
No,
but I think Nebraska's tunnel walk is fine.
I think it does the job of getting the crowd ready for the game, but as far as the actual taking of the field, it is like a lot of others.
They've done really good jobs with it over the years. Like the videos are cool.
The production's top notch.
The fireworks are sweet, but like they run out of a tunnel. Like I know it's one of the checkpoints that all the broadcasters hit. Like when they're like, "Hey, Nebraska, the Sea of Red and the tunnel walk and the balloons," right? They always check those boxes. But like, if I'm not from here and I don't know what Nebraska is all about, I don't know that I know anything about the tunnel walk. I just don't think I do.
Yeah, I don't know how.
I don't know anything about.
I don't know how.
I think
popular
Nebraska,
it is amongst
I think the red,
rest of the country.
I think the helmet with the N and maybe like the black shirts, and that's kind of the story. Okay, I apologize for triggering people. Ethan has a scenario for us.
Okay.
Nebraska beats Wisconsin in the volleyball national championship. Cook retires. Nebraska volleyball doesn't make another Final Four for at least 15 years, but in that time frame, football never loses more than 3 games in a season and makes 2 college football playoffs. Do you take that deal? I mean, Ethan, it's a deal of a lifetime.
Very specific scenario, but
it's the deal of a lifetime. Why would I ever say no to that?
Yeah, I don't see how anyone could say no to that.
I know we love our Nebraska volleyball, but I would trade it in an instant for Nebraska football success.
And that doesn't necessarily mean that volleyball is not a good program. They could still be making deep runs, just not make the Final Four.
Yeah, I mean, even you could even tell me that they suck,
and you would still take it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I feel like
it's football versus volleyball. Let's be honest about this here.
Yeah, there's been so much heartache over football that it's hard to say no to that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like university. Like if you asked the president of the university, like, hey, if you could have scenario A or scenario B, scenario A is football is amazing for 20 years and volleyball stinks, or volleyball is amazing for 20 years and football stinks. Duh, football. Like it's been shown across the country time and time again. If you have success in football, like it helps enrollment for your school,
it helps everything.
The state's economy, like especially in this state, like bang, 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 check, all that stuff. I love Nebraska volleyball. I hope they win a national title. I hope they're good forever. But I would trade it in a hot second for really any sort of football success. If that was an option for me, I apologize. I know I'm really triggering people today now. feel like we get this question every week, so we won't spend much time on it. Husker in Arkansas. If all the folks from 1620 had a basketball game, had a basketball team, versus team, who would you put on your team, including all the producers, radio hosts, and even the new boss? I don't know. I feel like we answer this question every week, or some version of it every week. You got to go to the most athletic people, and then size is a factor as well. Bottom line is, I don't think anybody that works at this station has really much spec of athleticism. Not much going on there. Peter, you'd be on my team for sure.
I'd be on your team?
Yeah, sure. I'll take Josh. I'll
Okay.
take you. I'll take Nick Hanley. And that's it. We have 4.
All right.
That's fine. Sure, we'll take Mark. We'll take new bosses.
Okay, Mark will be okay. That's our 5.
That's our 5th. Yeah, we're gonna win. If we
All right.
Yeah, it's over. Now,
good stuff.
I think we're okay in that category. Let's see. I don't think that's a tweet bag question. That's more of just a comment. Here's from Tom. My wife told me not to get her any Christmas gifts.
Oh,
because she doesn't need anything. I sense a trap.
I think you're right.
What do you recommend I do? Yes,
Well,
I have agreed to similar.
See, Connor, you actually have a wife. I am as single as they come, so I feel like you have more to offer to this situation, but I feel like that is a trap.
I've agreed to similar things before. We may be in an agreement like that this year. I can only speak to my personal relationship. When I agree to this, it is not a trap. Like we both genuinely actually think like we're not
Okay, there you go.
We'll go out to dinner or whatever. We'll do something nice for each other, and it doesn't have to be a gift. With that being said, I'm still probably going to get a gift.
Yeah.
And she's probably still going to get me a gift at some point.
It's just a nice thing to do.
We're just nice people.
Yeah.
So it depends. It depends on your scenario. It depends on your situation. I would say, just to be safe, you better just show her at some point in the next 12 days that you're thinking about her in some way, shape, or form. It's really
good advice.
The women really hold the men to a very low standard. You don't have to do much. Just a little.
Just
thing.
show that
you're thinking about her.
It's the holidays.
That's all. That's my relationship advice.
It's a good answer.
Davo says Nebraska needs a new ton of walk. End of story. Ethan says, thank you for proving my point on the volleyball versus football scenario. If you're a female, you aren't taking the deal, in my opinion. Oh, man. Really? Okay. I mean, I guess I can't speak to it. Not a female, famously. If there's any females listening to this show, here's my deal, basically. Scenario A, football sucks for the next 20 years, but volleyball is amazing. Or scenario B, the inverse of it, the opposite, which is basically the situation that we're all living in right now. If you are a female, do you take that deal? All right, that's a question that lays out there for everybody else. Elsewhere on the emails, here's a longer one from Brian. I haven't read through this yet, but it does say #tweetbag, so I'll use it. Excuse me. What are your thoughts on when teams copy fan interaction things that other teams at higher levels in their area does? Example, it drives me crazy when I hear Red Kingdom at Husker sporting events. Maybe it's my dislike for the Chiefs and the fact that the song isn't really that great, but Nebraska doesn't need it. On the same front, I hate that Omaha started copying Nebraska in other sports. Suddenly there's lightning flashes and thunderstruck playing in Baxter Arena, or every attempt at some version of jump around style in between the third and fourth quarter at football games. Just be original. Now, Brian, like as a person who kind of works on that side of many of the local sports teams, I will tell you that there's only so many things you can do, right? In between the third and fourth quarter, it's a great time for a hype song. It's a great time to put out the light show. It does not have to be Thunderstruck.
Yeah, Thunderstruck is just a very common song in general.
So it doesn't like I would agree with you on the from the standpoint of if it's exact, like if it's a dead off ripoff, then yeah, like maybe just figure out something else.
Yeah.
But there's only so many things you can do. There's only so many songs you can play. And some songs, and we're all the same people, right? People go to Creighton basketball games.
The light shows where the people's phones are synced up. That's becoming commonplace. But that's just, I don't know. I feel like that's not tied to one place.
But what I'm saying is like the people who go to the Creighton basketball games are the same people who go to Nebraska football games. The people who go to Nebraska basketball games also go to Creighton basketball games. And like it's all the same people. So when you figure out something that works from a fan experience standpoint, like, yeah, I understand the desire to just like play it. This works. This is automatic every time. We need a bump. Now, I would love everybody to have their own original feel, but the fact of the matter is, like, once again, we're all the same people, and there's only the state and the people that go to Creighton basketball games or Nebraska football games or Nebraska basketball games. It tends to skew a little older. Old people know what they want. And there's only a few things that get old people excited. And one of them starts with, stand up and shout. And so, like, you know, you got to play the hits sometimes too.
Beautiful, beautiful rendition.
I understand, but I would prefer a little individuality between the programs, which I do think they have in certain respects. Sometimes you'll hear the same songs, though. There's only so many songs you can play. John emails in. Subject line, Josh. Does Burke High have to put Josh in their Hall of Fame if he wins another national championship tonight? He already's got 2. He's looking for a 3rd. I mean, Josh has been pining for this for years now.
Yeah, I guess we could ask him about this come tomorrow.
I would say that the candidacy would be stronger than ever if he were to acquire his 3rd championship ring.
The trifecta.
Very strong. Chris on the Equitable Bank inbox. With all the restaurant talk and the crossover, what's your go-to cheap restaurant in college? Peter, you went to Nebraska as well, right?
I did, yes.
Okay. Can we just say 1, 2, 3, and then both say our restaurant? Because I imagine it's the same.
I'm trying to think about all the places I frequented.
Okay.
Throughout
all right.
my 4 years.
Think about it real quick. You got it?
And so the criteria is just cheap restaurant?
Yeah.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. De Leon's.
Oh, wait.
You could have said whatever you wanted.
So you said De Leon's.
I was gonna say De Leon's.
Well,
yeah.
I was gonna say something.
You were gonna say De Leon's.
So the De Leon's is not somewhere I went a lot in Lincoln because I had it so much in Omaha.
That was way more of a Lincoln thing for me.
And I sometimes I would even forget that they had some in Lincoln. I would go to a place. Did you ever go to Taco House?
Taco House?
Yeah.
I went to Taco Inn a lot.
Yeah, there was this place called Taco House near the North Bottoms.
I think that's Taco Inn. Up there by that grocery store?
Or wait,
by that
am
McDonald's?
Am I calling it the wrong thing? Oh no, oh my god, yeah, that's Taco Inn.
Taco Inn. Yeah.
Taco House is in Okoboji.
Taco House sounds awesome.
Taco House is fantastic.
I would go to
that's in
Taco House.
Okoboji. I am completely geographically confused right now. But yeah, Taco Inn was good. I went there a lot.
Taco Inn. Definitely like Raising Cane's.
Yeah, it was rarely open the last few years I was in college.
So I'm thinking.
Yeah, there's a Runs Over by the Taco Inn.
I'm thinking either like drunk food after the bars or like
Did you ever go to that
hangover food the next morning?
Did you ever go to that place on O Street right on the corner, the Greek place? What is it called?
Oh yeah, Gourmet Grill.
Gourmet Grill.
Yeah. George and Sear are my best friends.
Oh, they are good dudes.
So then, George opened up another place in Lincoln over at the Clock Tower, and so there's Gourmet Grill all over town now, which is amazing. Oh yeah,
that's good stuff.
We became very friendly. We go in there and a buddy of mine, they give him the plate of fries or whatever, and they'd season them real heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And my buddy would go, "No, more seasoning."
More.
You just put more seasoning.
And it was fantastic.
Dumping seasoning on it the entire time.
It was rare that I would go in there and there would not be some sort of a confrontation happening, but you can just block it out because the food is so good. Yeah. Just
nothing mattered at that point. So on Christmas gifts, here's Joel. Forget the flowers, just bring home mozzarella sticks. She'll be over the moon. There's an idea for you.
All right.
Platt Cat, poll question: are you a female / do you know any females who listen to the show? I'd like to find a couple. We always have Danielle on the YouTube. I don't know where she's at today, but she's usually in there. I'd like to get her opinion.
She's missing out on a great tweet
on the volleyball question. That's for sure. Brad says Creighton had lightning on the ribbon boards the first year they were in CHI. UNO has had the lightning on the ribbon boards for a couple different seasons now. Like I said, there's only so many things you could do. There's only with the ribbon boards and the graphics, they all have their own packages and stuff like that. Some of it is gonna definitely end up being the same. Travis says Nebraska's tunnel walk is like Connor's food takes, mid. Oh, so somebody agrees with me on the tunnel walk thing. Good. You can think my food takes are mid. But the sports takes are what you're here for. Let's see. From the 402. I would sacrifice the volleyball program to guarantee 6 wins for the football team each season, let alone 9. Thoughts, Peter? Would you sacrifice the entire volleyball program to win one more game than Nebraska did last year?
That might be where I have to.
That's a no for me.
That might be where I have to say no.
That's a no for me. I can deal because really the difference between 5 and 6 is not that much. We talk about bowl games like it's like the national championship around here, but it's really not.
I'm not getting rid of one of the most elite programs that school has for a trip to the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl or whatever it's called.
If the option is national championship caliber volleyball program every year, or like 6 wins in football, like give me the national championship volleyball program. But if we bumped it up to like conference championship contending / conference championship football team who's making semi-regular appearances in the college football playoff, then yeah, there's some wiggle room with volleyball, I think. There's been plenty of volleyball success. Just imagine what these conversations are. I can't wait for these conversations in when I'm still doing this exact same show in like 30 years. And we'll be talking about 2023. It's like, remember in 2023, like Nebraska volleyball had been good forever and ever and ever and ever. And football was just so bad, and it'll just be completely different. It's like, wow, Nebraska volleyball is really in there. They're in there like Bill Callahan era right now. And Nebraska football has just been this historically relevant program. Like they're revived once again. Matt Rule's in his 40th year of coaching. I'm just waiting for it. Everything's cyclical. It'll happen.
Yeah,
it'll happen. Cecilian Soletto does not want me to forget about her. I did forget about her in the women who listen to this show conversation. Says, what am I, chopped liver? Oh, how soon we forget. Good football because change is good. I miss good football. She picks good football. Okay, there you go.
Okay.
And Deb, another woman who listens to the show, says, I listen to your show almost daily. Thank you, Deb.
All right, thank you,
What do you
Deb.
think about canceling volleyball?
Let's hear it.
I want your thoughts. All right. Thank you for participating in the tweet bag. If you did, you are entered into the drawing to win $50 to Cops. Be on the lookout for like a DM or something like that. Peter might slide in a little bit later. We'll get you contacted on that. Come back for more next on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Email us on the Equitable inbox with whatever is on your mind. The Zone inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. You can hit me up, agree, disagree, tell me your thoughts on life at Hanley@1620thezone.com. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
Looking for a unique gift for your friends and family? Any size gift card will fit every homeowner or gardener on your list. We're your one-stop shop and homegrown headquarters. Rooted in quality, unmatched value. Lanahaw Nurseries, 192nd and Center.
Peerless Energy Systems is Nebraska and Iowa's locally owned and operated authorized solar air compressor distributor. Peerless Energy Systems provides products and solutions for compressed air systems, helping companies in manufacturing, food processing, transportation, auto body repair, car dealers, and more. Driving industry efficiency through service, support, and relationships, let Peerless Energy Systems help you increase efficiency with your compressed air systems today. PeerlessEnergy.com.
Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here with Dr. Lance Kugler of Kugler Vision. You know, it's been 5.5 years since I had my procedure done at Kugler Vision. I remember going in for the eye analysis and finding out, hey, there's something other than LASIK.
Well, I think it's important to have a full analysis of the eye so that you can make a good recommendation. A lot of the patients that we see have been told over the years, sometimes a long time ago or sometimes more recently, that there isn't an option for them. And I think that's just because they haven't had as in-depth of analysis as they need to know for sure what their options are.
And I think one of the coolest things about that entire process was how comfortable I felt. And I know as I've talked to other people who had procedures done, they said the same thing, whether it was the consultation, whether it was the day of the procedure, all of those questions were answered. And like there was genuine care for me as an individual person.
We all have the same goal. We want you to see as well as you possibly can.
Schedule an eye analysis today, 402-558-2211, or you can visit their website, kuglervision.com.
When it comes to protecting your home, J. Stennett Contracting takes pride in ensuring every detail is handled. Roofing, siding, gutters. When it comes to the exterior of your home, J. Stennett Contracting has you covered. This fall, consider gutter guards to block debris and prevent clogs and save you the hassle of regular maintenance. Schedule a consultation today and let J. Stennett Contracting's expert team and durable gutter guards ensure your gutters are working properly in every season. J. Stennett Contracting. We have you covered. JSCRestoration.com.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Start learning a new language today. Go to Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
This holiday season, find all kinds of deals at Target. Discover sweet deals on toys and small appliances, big deals on clothing and beauty, plus so much more. At Target, get what you need for the holidays. Find new deals each week for everyone on your list and get it all fast with free drive up. Score low prices and great deals all season long. Now at Target. Exclusions apply.
DJ's Dugout Sports Bar is proud to support Creighton Athletics, and DJ's is the official watch party sports bar of Creighton basketball. Nick Hanley here for my friends at DJ's. Watch Creighton basketball on DJ's huge TV walls at 7 metro locations. Plus, enjoy delicious food and a Blue Jay lemonade cocktail, of course. It's an Omaha tradition. Cheer for the Jays at DJ's. Voted Omaha's #1 sports bar locally in Vietnam, veteran-owned. Dig in at the Dugout.
Off season, man, it really felt like the off season yesterday. Matt Rule showed up on Pat McAfee's show. The off season is so back.
So much for your off season lull.
Exactly. People who were, thank you, Peter, man, because some people, some hosts of the morning show were like, oh no, I can't deal with this. I can't do another off season of hype or whatever it might be. I'm all the way bought in because here's why. Matt Rule has figured, and it's not like I crack the code. Like this is just who he is, right? He sells this program better than any coach that has been here. I mean, you would have thought that Scott Frost would have been able to sell the program pretty well, right?
Having been directly involved, yes.
Right. Yeah. He won a national championship here, shared a national championship here. Had some success as a quarterback. And that was sort of at least part of the allure of bringing Scott Frost in because he knows it. He kind of knows where the bodies are buried. Matt Rule figured that out really quickly and understands sort of what makes the people of the state tick. Every time he goes on one of those things, whether it's Pat McAfee show yesterday, just national type of shows where they ask him like, hey, how's Nebraska? Why do you like Nebraska? Just like generic questions like that. How'd you end up at Nebraska? Because that's often the lens and the prism it's viewed from like the national media is like, what are you doing there? Like, why do you like it so much? And he's like, why would I not? He sells the program with such a passion, and it feels so like it just feels natural to him.
It doesn't feel forced.
He absolutely and totally believes in it.
Yeah.
And it's partly because I think he has a vision and he's seen his vision play out, several times or, a couple times already at programs on the college landscape before he's got here at Temple and Baylor. So he's seen that. He understands that his plan and his vision sort of works. But not only that his plan and vision sort of meshes with the Big Ten, it meshes with Nebraska. He loves, by the way, and it was, what was he on for, like 45 minutes yesterday on that thing?
Yeah, almost an hour.
I mean, they just kind of yapped the entire time. And he hit some of the notes that he always hits when he goes in those types of things. But one of the things that kept popping up is like, I love the fact that the Big Ten is going to be the way it is, and we'll have a chance to go to the playoff and win 10 games. And he said, Nebraska is basically going to be a force to be reckoned with, or a team that people are going to have to deal with. His vision aligns with the programs. And so the two are just sitting in perfect symmetry. And then you have the athletic director, who he's mentioned a couple of times as well as an important figure in all of the stuff. It aligns with how what the state values. It's what he always talks about. I'm happy. For me personally, I know people are sick of the hype in the offseason. Like, let the offseason hype train commence. And this is all happening while stuff is going on in the background. People are already, they're freaking out. They're on edge because what's going to happen? When's this volcano going to erupt with whether it's Kyle McCord or Dylan Raiola or whoever else might be sitting out there in the transfer portal, or guys that Dylan Raiola is going to flip and stuff like that. By the way, I would temper your expectations on that. But as far as Raiola is concerned, individually, they brought him up. The name Raiola was mentioned a couple times, and he kind of just sat there and he was like, "Yeah, he played it cool." But like, he shows up on that show yesterday, and I immediately had flashbacks to last year when he was saying pretty much the exact same things. And now, like, you only get the sense from Rule when he talks about the program through its first year now. I mean, think about how much more he knows now about this program, about where it's positioned in college football, about where it's positioned in the Big Ten, about where it's positioned in NIL, and whatever else, resources, everything. Think about how much more he knows right now than he did a year ago. He is saying pretty much the exact same things. It tells you, and you can only believe this by listening to him talk about, and keep in mind, talk about it. Keep in mind, he's an outstanding salesperson, as we previously mentioned. So,
yeah,
like maybe sometimes he goes over the top. But my only conclusion that I get from listening to him talk is that they feel like they are totally and completely on track in terms of what they thought they were going to experience this year and what they did experience this year and what that means for the long-term picture of building the program. That's my takeaway from when he does these things. And you'll see him pop up. I mean, he'll have a press conference probably a week from tomorrow, I would guess, signing a 2024 recruiting class, and you'll get the same type of questions like, hey, are you on track? Or how does it feel after 1 year? You getting comfortable and stuff like that? Yes, I'm comfortable. Yes, I'm ready to go for year 2. And yes, we're totally on track. We go back to Frostaff because it's the most recent example of this. Like, I think the ground was a little shaken underneath them after the first year. That was always my read. They thought, hey, we need to get bigger, we need to adjust, we need to do all these things. They kind of panicked a little bit, and they changed a few things about what they did. And I think the positive part about this coaching staff is they have some experience doing this. They have experience with year ones, and they're like, yep, no, trust me, hang on, it'll get better. So much so that they're so confident in their own plan that one bad year is not going to shake the ground in which they walk upon, right? It is not going to shake their core. I think that's one of the things that I've sort of taken away from his appearances. What is there news?
Don't want to interrupt.
What
you.
Is there news? Oh,
it's Danny Kaelin news.
Oh, okay.
He's taking a visit to Michigan State this weekend.
Yes, we mentioned that.
Oh, we did get to that?
I asked Mitch about it a little bit. Yeah, if we didn't say before.
It popped up on 3 6 minutes ago. That's just where I saw it.
So yeah, Schaefer had an hour or two ago.
So he was way ahead of it.
And
okay.
So yeah, Daniel Kaelin is going to go to Michigan State now. Or he's going to visit Michigan State this weekend.
Yes.
Now keep in mind, the door is still open for him at Nebraska from everything that I've been able to put together and how they talk to him. I appreciate Nebraska's willingness to be upfront about all this stuff, by the way, too.
Yeah.
But obviously, it was given to him with the caveat of, and I don't know the exact conversation, but clearly, given what's happening, this is how it went. Hey, spot's still open for you. We appreciate you. We love you. But we're going to go recruit another. We have a chance to get another quarterback in this class. So doors open for you, but I want you to, if you feel like you want to get on the field soon, you're going to have a quarterback who's probably better than you, who's your age, who's here at the same time as you.
And this just feels like a really great staff to deal with something like this.
They're super upfront.
They are.
I think that is,
and that goes a long way.
I think that is a big part of the reason that they're going to end up actually getting Dylan Raiola. I think there was probably just some promises that were made to him at Georgia, and their family, the Raiola family, is they kind of keep score and they keep track of what's been said and what goes on in the recruiting process. And I think they've maybe found that Nebraska staff really shot them straight throughout this entire period, and they might just have one fall into their lap at the end of the class. No, but thank you for mentioning that again, Peter, because I don't know that enough people sort of caught that earlier in the show. All right, let's take a quick time out. We'll come back. We still want a few things still here. By the way, we're kind of open for the rest of the show, so if you guys have thoughts you want to call, you go ahead and do that. 402-951-1620. I was ruminating on a thought that we brought up with Max yesterday about quarterbacks generally and where they may end up going forward. Also, Ohio State players commenting on Kyle McCord's departure, and Creighton tonight at UNLV. Still plenty more to get to on a Wednesday edition of the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley.
What in the hell is the smell outside?
Yes.
So if
Great
you are
question.
just going outside
It's money.
this morning.
You know what that is? It's money.
No.
That's manure.
Hey,
you're
in a gots-to-go situation, manure, because it's awful outside.
It is bad.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Well, it's going to be a warm next couple days. Your Wednesday afternoon temperatures getting up into the mid-40s. Mostly clear skies overnight. Tomorrow morning, cold outside, a temperature in the 20s, but warming nicely throughout the day to a high temperature in the low 50s. I'm meteorologist Luke Vickery, KETV Newswatch 7.
Hey everybody, it's Michael here for Ted and Wally's. One of the things that Ted and Wally's does is go along with the seasons, whether it's the summer or it's the spring or it's the fall, and of course, the winter and holidays, and the holiday flavors are amazing. Let me suggest a couple of them for you. Coffee beignet and ooey gooey cake. You are going to love both of them, and so will your family and friends. Swing by the two locations, whether it's Benson, next to Taste of New Orleans, or in the Old Market, and get the holiday flavors today. Grab a gift card while you're there as well, and always tell them Severe sent you.
The holidays are here. This holiday season, we encourage you to come support our local stores in Omaha. And Westwood Plaza has everything you need to find that perfect gift. Do you have a sewer in your life? Then So Creative has the perfect holiday gift. So Creative offers a wide range of sewing machines, embroidery machines, fabric, and everything needed to get the next project started. They offer classes for all skill levels, from an absolute beginner to an advanced sewist. Come and get your holiday gifts taken care of at So Creative on 125th and Center inside Westwood Plaza. Do you have someone in your life that could use some pampering for the holidays? Then head to Love is in the Hair, 125th and Center inside Westwood Plaza. Love is in the Hair is committed to providing the best experience to every client that walks through the door and helping every individual feel their absolute best. Over 25 years of experience in hair for the entire family, whether it's highlight, color, cuts, or waxing. Everything you need to shop locally for the holidays is at Westwood Plaza in Omaha.
Take your home to the next level with Level countertops, cabinets, and flooring. If you have a kitchen, bath, or closet that is completely dysfunctional, now is the time to make them functional. Level countertops, cabinets, and flooring is your expert for taking your home to the next level. The staff will listen to your needs and dreams and create a unique space specifically for you and your family. Visit the showroom at 192nd and West Maple or online at levelomaha.com. That's levelomaha.com.
As we end 2023 and look forward to 2024, locally owned John Higgins Weather Guard would like to thank our friends for your continued support and patronage for 35 plus years. We wish you the happiest of holidays and a prosperous new year. And if you're even thinking about replacing your roof, we invite you to make the right call to John Higgins Weather Guard, the home of the rooferees.
John Higgins Weather Guard, the home of the rooferees. Make the right call.
Giving the food lover in your life a great gift has never been easier. Order gift cards fast and easy for Shuck's Fish House, Bailey's Breakfast and Lunch, and Absolutely Fresh Seafood Market. Online at absolutelyfresh.com and get them mailed or emailed to all your friends, family, and coworkers.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call in the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Can you feel it? It's more than the chill in the air or the excitement of the holidays. At Heart Ministry Center, we call it the attitude of gratitude. Thanks to you, we're able to provide food, health care, and a way forward to people severely affected by poverty in Omaha. With matching funds available, now's the perfect time to give. Visit heartministrycenter.org/gratitude or sign up to tour or volunteer. Heart Ministry Center, dignity for all.
If you're the kind of person who has the attitude that when you do a job, you do it right, not just one time, every single time, congratulations. You're a rare individual, the kind of individual the Langfeld family wants to pay very well to join the awesome crew at Langfeld Overhead Door. That's because the Langfeld family believes strongly in treating their employees right. You know, doing what's right, like you do on the job. Opportunities are available now. Click langfelddoors.com. That's langfelddoors.com. Equal opportunity employer.
All right, welcome back. We're the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Conversation currently going on in our YouTube chat, which you can join in on if you'd like to. Star Wars Fiend says, wow, how screwed would we be if somehow McCord and Dylon fell through and Daniel Kalen went elsewhere? The Patriot supply will sell out fast in Nebraska. There'll be some doomsday preppers for sure going on in that situation. And this is sort of the theme of like the show today, I guess. The more that it hangs out there and the more that, you know, you assume something's happening and then it continues to not happen like publicly, the more you just get worried. I think that's a natural human reaction, I guess. If that's the case, which I imagine it's the case for many people around the entire state right now. The title of the show today was Waiting for the Boom. You got, I mean, you're going to have to just wait it out. But like clearly from Nebraska's point of view, they obviously feel great about their situation, right? They obviously feel that they sit in a good spot with both of those quarterbacks, McCord out of the transfer portal and Raiola visiting over the weekend. And I also think like, and I don't want to like assume too much here, but kind of all we can do is sort of connect dots. But like, if that guy, what was he? Laguna Dog, as long as Laguna Dog doesn't stop the plane from coming to Nebraska this weekend from Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, and Dylan Raiola is here, it's hard for me to believe that they would make that final visit when he's already committed to Georgia and that not be a fruitful one for Nebraska. Like, I just don't know why you would do that. Now, and Josh said on the YouTube, he says Rayola hasn't even visited yet. Everyone needs to relax. Yeah, I mean, like they're planning on it, and it's for him, right? It's not being veiled as like this is Dayton's visit or anything like that. Not that you would do that right around this time of year anyway. It's just it's hard. It would be very, very difficult for me to imagine him making that visit, flying up here, completing that visit, all while he is committed to Georgia. I mean, you got to decommit to Georgia at some point too, and do whatever you're going to do here. See campus one last time. It's not really about that. It's it's to have a conversation. It's probably to have a conversation about name, image, and likeness as well, and that not ending in a thing that in a Nebraska signed letter of intent. It'd be hard for me to imagine. Once again, just sort of connecting dots.
Yeah.
Like just playing a little what if, because I think that's kind of what we're doing here. But yeah. Now, if that's not the case and that ends up going south, I still think you feel like you're in a really good position in terms of the transfer quarterback. Even though we haven't heard about that, he's gone home. He's left from his visit, and and then Kalen's kind of unfortunately sort of just out on his own at this point. If I'm him, if I'm Daniel Kalen, I would not want to go to Nebraska anymore. Personally, and not that anybody's done him wrong or like whatever it might be, but like he decommitted from a place that he liked and the coaching staff liked them and that's having success right now in the SEC in Missouri, left that spot, said goodbye after Nebraska, only after Nebraska's pursuit of Dylan Raiola the first time was theoretically, quote unquote, over at that point. And then what happened when he did commit to the class immediately after that is, he was an ambassador for the program. He was a great peer recruiter, and all that stuff. Like he was all in, right? Only to have the plug pulled, and I shouldn't, the quote unquote plug pulled. I mean, he could still go to Nebraska if he wants to, according to the reporting that's being done here. Like just to have Dylan Raiola re-enter the picture on, with 9 days left before signing day or 10 days left before signing day. Like if you're Danny Kalen, like I'm just speaking personally, this is how I would think about it. If you told me one thing and ended up being another, I'll go somewhere else. That's fine.
And I think that's very reasonable.
I think it is too. Like it doesn't have to be this salacious.
It does not have to be.
It doesn't have to be this whole thing about that's kind of just Cruton. Schaefer always does the Cruton guy. And he goes like this and he shrugs on Twitter. Like that's kind of just what it is. And that it doesn't have to be like a good or a bad thing. It stinks for him because I think he obviously really, really wanted to come to Nebraska. And once again, he still could if he wanted to battle it out against Raiola. But he was told the entire time that he wasn't because he thought he was gone. He thought he was going to Georgia and Nebraska's pursuit of him was over. Clearly it's not. Right. So if I'm him, I do go elsewhere personally. But that's just how I think about it. And I, based on his activity, which is visiting Michigan State this weekend, he is going to go elsewhere. That's how it seems to me. Anyway, let's see from the Equitable Bank inbox here. Connor at 1620thezone.com. Jeff, so more conspiracy, not a conspiracy theory, it's a real life question. Hi, Connor. I'm sure you've discussed this, but couldn't Dylan Raiola and what he's doing right now simply be a way to get more NIL money through Georgia? I know there's a lot of people out there sort of thinking that. It certainly could be. It certainly could be if he was after NIL and that was what they're about. Obviously, NIL is going to be a thing with one of the top 10 recruits in the country. Always, it just is. But once again, like the Raiolas are good.
Yeah,
they're okay. He knows he's going to make NIL money wherever he goes. If it's the difference between like $100,000 or a couple $100,000 or whatever it might be, like I would say unlikely. You never know. I would say unlikely. Once again, I believe this to be, and we talked about this with Mitch earlier, and the real answer to the question is like, why is, so if the question is, why is Dylan Raiola not going to Georgia, if that indeed is the case? The real answer, the true answer is, I don't know. And maybe we'll find that out. It's unlikely, by the way. We probably won't find that out after the signing day press conference. But the best that I could put together based on what I've read and heard at this point is that there were some promises that were made that weren't kept. That actually tracks with what we know about the Raiolas, which is Dominic, who's been a friend of the show, Dominic Raiola, like he's a principled guy. He knows what he wants. Obviously he was going to leave the decision making up to Dylan in this case, but like they have a pretty good understanding, and they have kind of strict principles on what they want and what they're looking for. Like when you're a quarterback the caliber that he is, throughout his entire recruiting process, and maybe just anybody as good as him, his recruiting process, it always came off as the universities and the football programs weren't grading him. It's that they were grading the universities, right? And that's sort of how you have to approach it. So I think if you're making a pros and cons list, and if you're making a list of things that you like and things that you don't like everything counts. Did it come down to, can we trust the people who are at Georgia versus can we trust the people who are at Nebraska? And I think Nebraska had answered their side of the question for a long time. They could trust the people who are at Nebraska. Certainly anytime after Scott Frost wasn't the coach anymore. We could trust the people at Nebraska. Can you trust the people of where you're going in Georgia?
Well, and
maybe not.
I've seen a few.
That's the best I can do.
And I've seen a few comments in the YouTube stream. Raising a few questions, and I suppose it's not really a bridge that needs to be crossed yet, but maybe what happens with the people that were peer recruited.
Yeah, like as far as bringing them to Nebraska too.
Yeah, or if they've committed, what happens now?
Feels a little late. Feels a little late personally.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the people that Kalen peer recruited, or are you talking about the people that Raiola peer recruited?
Kalen.
Okay. Oh, so that's on both answers, I guess. It feels a little late at this point. You have your decisions made up and you've been sitting on it for a long time. I don't know, maybe there's a surprise visit this weekend somewhere else, and you got to be like, that's just the sacrifice that comes with, doing, pulling off the coup that they did, which is getting Dylan Raiola theoretically this weekend. My guess is there's little to no movement in that category. I think they all feel for Daniel Kalen, but I don't know. Sometimes it's just Cruton.
It's just Cruton.
It's just Cruton. All right, come back. We got some comments here that we can get to as well. Still plenty to come on a Wednesday edition of the Connor Happer Show. Got one thing to remind you of before we take a quick break, and that is an invite. An invite for you to vote in the Holiday Reel Rivalry. The most beloved holiday films will go head-to-head in an epic battle for the title of the best Christmas movie. All this is available on our website. And if you do play in the best Christmas movie bracket on our website, 1620thezone.com, you will be entered in to win some Christmas cash. So plenty of opportunities to get those stockings stuffed or those trees underneath them full. Here's just one of them. Head to our website right now, 1620thezone.com.
Omaha's most listened to all sports radio station. Again and again and again. 1620 The Zone.
At Dingman's, we are working for you before you even walk through our doors. Our level of commitment to industry involvement and continuing education is second to none. Through our ongoing involvement, we stay current with all the best repair procedures for the ever-changing vehicle. This includes working with auto and paint manufacturers, as well as insurance companies. Our repair facilities are set up with the latest repair and technology. Our ongoing work is to ensure that when you do need us, we are able to provide you with the safest, best repair possible. Because at Dingman's, we would rather be the best than apologize for anything less. Dingmans.com.
Bowl games and pro football playoffs are coming up, and it's time to make a game plan for your football watch party. Whatever you're serving, it all tastes better on fresh Rotella's buns and bread. Old family recipes and choice ingredients make it the best tasting bread you can buy. Stop into the bakery off 108th and Harrison or pick some up at your favorite local grocery store. When it comes to football, fresh bread from Rotella's Italian Bakery is undefeated. Rotella's Italian Bakery, a century of pride in every slice. RotellasBakery.com.
The brand new Dollar General Distribution Center in Blair is now hiring. Starting wage is up to $22 per hour with benefits including medical, dental, vision, 401k, and a $2,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Again, apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Dollar General can't wait to have you become a team member at their brand new distribution center.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Many people go back to the dealership out of habit or because they think the dealer is the only one who knows how to fix their car. At Omaha Car Care, we offer a better option. We have ASE certified technicians, the technology to service any vehicle, and free loaner cars. The dealer will sell you a package of services. We'll provide the service you want for your car as your trusted partner. I'm Rick Betker, owner of Omaha Car Care, and we'll be along for the ride.
Looking for a unique gift for your friends and family? Any size gift card will fit every homeowner or gardener on your list. We're your one-stop shop and homegrown headquarters. Rooted in quality, unmatched value. Lanahaw Nurseries, 192nd and Center. Let it fly. Your elevated sports bar experience. KOC and Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620, The Zone.
All right, welcome back. More of the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. We're back, and we're taking your phone calls and your texts and your thoughts and your tweets and your emails, and all the above. But we do love when people call
Your
on
carrier
the show.
pigeons?
Yes, your carrier pigeons. Send one to us, 5011 Capitol Avenue. Dalton is on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline this afternoon. Hey, Dalton, what's up?
Hey, guys, what's going on?
Oh, nothing, man. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Got off work early, so can't complain.
Oh, very good.
So my whole take is, if Danny Kaelin feels that much of disrespect about the whole Dylan Raiola thing, what happens if he feels that much disrespect about the whole situation and he goes to Michigan State and commits, and Dylan Raiola comes here and he's like, nah, I'd rather go to Georgia. So what does Nebraska do about the whole McCord situation? Say he's a one and doneer. Who are they going to look at?
then they would be empty in 2024 if that were to happen. That would be a bad situation, Dalton.
Well, I mean, that's all I'm saying is like it's not. I mean, I don't know how possible it is, but
yeah,
it's potentially possible. You're dealing with kids that are 18 years old. You know,
I'm with you. I'm with you, and you never know until you know. Appreciate the call, Dalton. I do have sort of a response to that, I guess. In like, so everyone's doing the doomsday scenario, right? The doomsday scenario is exactly kind of what he just laid out. Or maybe you don't get maybe the ultimate doomsday scenario is you straight up don't get McCord, and you know, and Kalen goes to Michigan State, and Raiola gets here and he's like, no thank you, I'd still rather go to Georgia. And Nebraska's just like, whoa, what's gonna happen? Now in that case, next year you're just kind of hosed, right? If you get McCord and not the other two. Like you still, and it would be bad. It would obviously be a horrible situation, but the transfer portal still exists, right? There were plenty of 3-year guys in there this year. There were plenty of 1-year guys in there this year. You go out and get a quarterback like that. That would be the answer. It's the same answer for me as it is. Well, what happens if Scott Frost doesn't work out? What happens if Matt Rule doesn't work out? Do you just kind of blow up the program at that point? No, you just go try again. You just go hire another coach. And just like Nebraska would go, and they would just go find a quarterback who could play quarterback for them. Like that's the simple sort of clinical answer to the entire thing. But I understand there are emotions and feelings that go into this as well. This is from Adley Rutschman's burner on Twitter. That's what the account is called. This is, my God, this fan base has PTSD and loves to try and talk the worst things ever into existence. Yeah, I've certainly noticed that. There might be some PTSD.
Just a little.
There might be. Well, what if it doesn't go well? I'm telling you, like, it would have been better for the health of everyone if this had just stayed bubbling underneath the surface for this entire week, and then surprise, Dylon was on campus on Saturday, and then surprise, he commits on Sunday. That would have been a lot better for the health of everybody. But we can't have everything our way. If ignorance is bliss. Unfortunately, we know too much right now.
Yeah,
because the rumors are out there, and this has been acknowledged. Like he's coming to Nebraska this weekend. He's making an official visit to Nebraska this weekend. So try to just stay calm, cool, and collected over the next 2 days. That would be my advice to everybody. Quick couple things here before we take a break. Let's go to Iowa City. So I have heard not much more than 2 names being thrown out for the offensive coordinator job at Iowa. I think this will be a long, exhaustive search, and Iowa's not really in any rush. I mean, think about this. Iowa has been without an offensive coordinator for since the season ended, but really before that. Like, what do you think their fan base is doing right now? They're probably losing it, right? And maybe Iowa JD can confirm that. Are you losing it right now?
Are you going insane?
I imagine that some people are. So there have been a couple names that have been speculated and thrown out over the last few days here. A name that keeps popping up in Iowa's offensive coordinator search is a pretty, if you would have given me about 6 guesses, I would have come up with this name in the first 6 guesses. And that would be Paul Chryst, the former Wisconsin head coach and the former Pitt head coach. Ends up back at Iowa, working for Kirk Ferentz. They believe in similar things, right? As it pertains to football, they both kind of have an FU to them, Like Paul Chryst is a huge potty mouth, but those are football guys, right? I could see that marriage working just fine. That's the name that I've certainly heard the most. There was another name that surfaced last night among some others, but here's the highlight. The other name that surfaced is definitely different than Paul Chryst. Scott Frost. And this is not like, what if Scott Frost became Iowa's offensive coordinator? No, this is like people recognizing this as a possibility, or at least the fact that maybe there was a contact between the two sides. And I just thought, wow, what a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. And by the way,
what a news cycle.
And by the way, I've been very clear on this the entire time. If Scott Frost decides that he wants to get back in the game and be an offensive coordinator somewhere, I think he would do a fine job. I really do believe that. I think he would be a fine offensive coordinator. And I don't mean fine as like, oh, he'll be fine. No, I mean, he will be good at it. I think that is his bag. That is his wheelhouse. And I think, over a couple of years when they, if they, because that what they're doing right now into Scott Frost's offense is like a crazy thing. But the thing that, that's a crazy transition. But man, what they at Nebraska at the beginning of 2022, when they had Mark Whipple and they were having trouble, obviously blending the offenses. And it was kind of just, and then Frost eventually, before he got fired last year, it was like, yeah, I'm just taking this crap over. Like, I can't deal with this anymore. And what did he say over and over? You got to have some creativeness in the run game. He was so right about that. He was absolutely right about that. If you don't have an offensive line that's just going to road grade and crush everybody, like, you got to get creative in the run game. You can't just drop back and pass. That is what Iowa's offense has been doing since the beginning of time, basically, certainly over the last decade plus here. And so what they could really use is not necessarily like, oh, we're going to run this high flying spread offense right away. But what they could really use is a shot of creativity. It's been a team that decreasingly over the last several years has been worse and worse and worse and worse at running the football in a conventional way. Maybe the answer to their question is we don't run it conventionally anymore. We be a little bit more creative. Scott Frost would be the right guy if you wanted to go that direction. Now, I have a hard time believing that would work. I don't know. I just have a hard time believing that would work, or that he's even a real front runner or favorite for the job at this point. But I'm telling you, if that happens, that would kind of be a scary sight. I think he would go there and he would have success. We will come back. Still a few other things that we want to hit. We'll get to the Ohio State players' comments on Kyle McCord's departure. Creighton at UNLV tonight. And still plenty more on the Wednesday edition of the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call in the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here for my friends at Kugler Vision. If you have money sitting in your flex plan or in your health savings account, it is time for an early holiday gift for yourself. Ditch the contacts, ditch the glasses for good at KuglerVision.com.
Good boy. At Cox, we think all customers deserve a reliable connection. So whether you're a loyal customer who's been with us for years, or you're new to the family like this little guy, you'll get the same great deals on the same great internet. And no matter who you are. See how you can save at Cox.com/deals for all. Other restrictions apply. All rights reserved.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make it fun and engaging, so you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life. You can choose from topics like travel, business, relationships, and more. You'll learn what matters most to you. Plus, Babbel's lessons are designed to get you speaking right away. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations.
Just 3 weeks? even better.
Since Babbel's lessons are designed by language experts and voiced by real native speakers, you'll get the accents just right and be able to carry on conversations with confidence.
Learning a language with Babbel doesn't take long.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Start learning a new language today. Go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
You're a man with a plan.
I know.
You'll propose to her on that family trip in front of everyone. Brilliant.
I know.
You know the trip is only a month away.
But I don't have a ring.
Luckily, there's GageDiamonds.com with engagement rings in every style for every budget with certified natural diamonds, lab-grown diamonds, and moissanite.
Can I finance it?
Gage lets you buy the ring today and pay for it over time with our no credit needed financing.
Brilliant.
Yes, we are. GageDiamonds.com. We're engagements. Middle name.
Exclusions apply. What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Start learning a new language today. Go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Take your home to the next level with Level countertops, cabinets, and flooring. If you have a kitchen, bath, or closet that is completely dysfunctional, now is the time to make them functional. Level countertops, cabinets, and flooring is your expert for taking your home to the next level. The staff will listen to your needs and dreams and create a unique space specifically for you and your family. Visit the showroom at 192nd and West Maple or online at levelomaha.com. That's levelomaha.com.
Experience Omaha's first Indian restaurant and brewery. Jaipur has created delicious Indian food and brews, from the tandoori salmon to the chicken tikka makhani. Jaipur has something for every palate. 2 locations, Rockbrook and Dundee. Come see why Jaipur has been voted first place best of Omaha 18 years in a row.
All right, Creighton basketball tonight at UNLV, or against UNLV in the Jack Jones Classic in Henderson, Nevada. So it's not on campus for UNLV. But it's in Vegas, just outside of Vegas. Creighton is 12.5-point favorite tonight. Tip off at 8 o'clock on 1620 The Zone. You can hear John Bishop, who's apparently eating breakfast with Michael Severe. Why is Michael always in Vegas?
How about that ride in?
How about that ride in? That was a good tweet.
that was a good tweet.
Good job by them. I guess every year Creighton just goes to Vegas now. So I saw something that popped up yesterday for the Jays. This little graph here. So just some of the things that are standing out in the first 10 or so games of the college basketball season. Excuse me. 3-point attempt rate versus 3-point attempt rate on defense, right? So how many threes are you taking and how many threes are you allowing the other team to take? Creighton is a gigantic outlier in this category. They take I shouldn't say almost exclusively, but almost 50% of their shots are threes. Almost 50% of the shots that they take from the floor are threes. And you know what? Another piece of that, this is like a sub-subject that's kind of amazing about Creighton's 3-point attempt rate at this point. So yes, almost 50% of the shots that they take are 3-pointers, but they're also really efficient on 2-pointers because they have Ryan Kalkbrenner. And this is the theme that's developing throughout this conversation. They have a formula, but they're also not allowing other teams to shoot threes. Greg McDermott it's really funny that they're in Vegas tonight, because here's the analogy. They're gambling. They're playing the numbers. And it's not a gamble, as Zach Galifianakis said in that movie. Alan said in that movie, it's not gambling if you know you're going to win. Right, Peterman?
Yep.
It's not gambling if you know you're going to win. It's a math formula. If you get if you shoot more 3-pointers than basically anybody else in the country besides Villanova, and you are making them at a 40% rate as a team right now, which is 13th in the country, and then you are not giving up any 3-pointers. You're not allowing the team that you're playing, I should say, to take basically any 3-pointers. Only less than 24% of Creighton's opponent shots are from the 3-point line. And when they are shooting the threes against Creighton, they are not making them. They're only making them about 28% of the time. It's a math equation. 3 is greater than 2. What did Greg McDermott say after the Iowa game? No, Cricky made a bunch of mid-range jumpers against us. Congratulations. He literally said that. And
congrats.
That's it. That is their formula. That's what this team is. There's just less, and obviously there's a little bit of volatility that comes with the idea of they need to be able to make threes to be successful. So you're going to lose one down the stretch here just as a clunker. And maybe that already happened. Maybe it's just Colorado State and that's it. Maybe there's a couple more. There's probably a couple more still in there. You're going to lose some just by the nature of how they play. But if they make a routine amount of threes and if they do what they do on defense, it's a formula where the other team can't catch up. They can't win because hardly anybody in the country shoots as many threes as you. Hardly anybody in the country makes as many threes at the percentage that you make them. And then hardly anybody in the country makes as many threes against you. So they have to shoot 2s. And Creighton's Creighton's defense is basically 3-point options are gone because we have Trey Alexander. We got a couple guys that are going to run you off the 3-point line, and that's what we're going to do scheme wise. And we have Ryan Kalkbrenner in the middle, so you ain't getting dunks and layups on us. So have fun. You could shoot all day long from the free throw line, the elbow, the mid range. You take those shots as much as you want to take them. You could take them and make 100% of them. You're not going to win against us. That's the math formula for Creighton.
And it's a dang good formula.
It's a good one because they have the personnel that they can just do it all the time. Creighton is 12.5-point favorites tonight.
I think I saw something this morning. One of John Bishop's retweets about Isaac Trout being the most efficient
player in the country.
It
makes sense because last game he had 18 points in 12 minutes. I talked about this a little bit on Monday, but Trout is a completely different player than I thought he was going to be 8 weeks ago. He has really found a role. And so Trout, Miller, and Green each give you kind of different things, and that's how we were looking to sort of figure out that spot at the 4. You get good, bench play with Farabello coming off the bench. Fred King does fine in his 8-10 minutes he gets a night. And everybody knows exactly what they're supposed to be in order for Creighton to win. And that's internally. Externally, yeah, maybe you get some stuff thrown at you this season that you have a difficult time in handling. They haven't seen that yet. They have played a relatively easy schedule so far. But yeah, they got their formula, and it's no secret. They know exactly what they're doing. All right, quick timeout here. We'll come back. Still a couple things to get to on a Wednesday edition of the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
It doesn't seem like any of us are supper people in here.
I was a supper person.
I was
for a
too,
long
and I
time.
moved away from it. I hate supper. People who call dinner supper call lunch dinner, and these people triggered me.
Dinner is only lunch on weekend, on a Sunday. My grandmother would call supper a snack between lunch and dinner, and then sometimes dinner would be dinner, but dinner wouldn't be dinner. I didn't understand these etiquettes.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Well, it's going to be a warm next couple days. Your Wednesday afternoon, temperatures getting up into the mid-40s. Mostly clear skies overnight. Tomorrow morning, cold outside, a temperature in the 20s, but warming nicely throughout the day to a high temperature in the low 50s. I'm meteorologist Luke Vickery, KETV Newswatch 7.
Need a feast to feed the family? Godfather's Pizza has you covered. Build your own feast. Choose a medium specialty pizza, a medium one-topping pizza, and a side, like my new bacon ranch cheese sticks. Freshly baked, loaded with mozzarella cheese, tangy ranch, and topped with an abundance of bacon. Do yourself a favor and build your feast today. Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
Many people go back to the dealership out of habit or because they think the dealer is the only one who knows how to fix their car. At Omaha Car Care, we offer a better option. We have ASE certified technicians, the technology to service any vehicle, and free loaner cars. The dealer will sell you a package of services. We'll provide the service you want for your car as your trusted partner. I'm Rick Betker, owner of Omaha Car Care, and we'll be along for the ride.
Email any of our shows anytime into the Equitable Bank inbox. At Equitable, we take banking personally. For me, John at 1620thezone.com. The Equitable Bank inbox from 1620 The Zone.
Looking for a unique gift for your friends and family? Any size gift card will fit every homeowner or gardener on your list. We're your one-stop shop and homegrown headquarters. Rooted in quality, unmatched value. Lenaha Nurseries, 192nd and Center.
At Dingman's, we are working for you before you even walk through our doors. Our level of commitment to industry involvement and continuing education is second to none. Through our ongoing involvement, we stay current with all the best repair procedures for the ever-changing vehicle. This includes working with auto and paint manufacturers, as well as insurance companies. Our repair facilities are set up with the latest repair and technology. Our ongoing work is to ensure that when you do need us, we are able to provide you with the safest, best repair possible. Because at Dingman's, we would rather be the best than apologize for anything less. Dingmans.com.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And in the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
This holiday season, all your wishes are coming true on FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 money line bet. That's $150 if your team wins. And if you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. You've got Saturday games this weekend. You've got Sunday games. And, of course, your primetime affair on Monday night between the Eagles and the Seahawks. App is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and much more. Visit FanDuel and use the promo code ZONE. That's FanDuel.com/zone and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. 21 plus and present in Iowa. First online, real money wager only. $5 pregame money line wager required. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable. Bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Make the right call, fans. The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Rooferees. All right, couple quick things here. First of all, you're going to have to forgive me because I'm not 100% sure what to make of this yet, because it involves the courts and things that I just don't know about. All right, So there was a court case today that is of note as it pertains to NCAA student athletes.
I was trying to grasp an understanding of this, and I was a little confused.
So if you ask me a question and my answer is I don't know, I apologize, but I know a couple things. In Ohio versus NCAA, Judge John Preston Bailey issues a temporary restraining order for the next 14 days that grants immediate eligibility to any college athletes that are currently seeking a waiver via the NCAA multi-transfer waiver system. In order to transfer a second time, you have to go via the waiver process. It is my understanding that for the next 14 days, everybody who is in that process is eligible. So the translation is, for the next 14 days, NCAA can't require any multi-time transfers to sit out while seeking a waiver for immediate eligibility. And then the judge will decide whether to grant a preliminary injunction, which would extend through the length of any sort of trial that would come up after that, after the 14 days are up. So this could be theoretically forever. So as far as what it functionally means, if there is a player, this is the best example I could think of it. There's a player in college basketball who's sitting out the first semester because he's transferred a second time and he's not eligible until the second semester, or maybe he's not even eligible until next year, and because he didn't get the waiver. Beginning right now, the NCAA cannot punish him for playing, and they cannot punish the schools for playing him or her, starting right now. So you thought it was wild before.
Yeah.
You just get ready. Get ready to roll right now.
Ready.
And basically, I mean, I think if my understanding of this is correct, I mean, what we're trending toward here is you could transfer whenever you want, however many times you want. I shouldn't say whenever you want. There are still the windows, but and however many times you want, and you don't have to go through the painstaking process of the waiver process. So say this happens, this exact thing happens in August 5th of 2023. Eric Gilbert immediately becomes eligible, right? Remember the case with him? He was waiting for the waiver. Now, ultimately, it ended up being a moot point because he committed some crimes he tried to rob a vape store. How many vapes can you have?
So many vapes, apparently.
But if that had happened on August 5th, he would have been immediately, deemed eligible at that point. So I imagine there will be some college basketball teams this evening who are like, whoa, cool, fun news.
Hey, now.
We just got a lot better overnight. So we'll keep a close eye on that one. But yeah, so it's a wild time out there in the transfer portal. Couple more things here. Draymond Green. Let's just go through some stats here. Draymond Green got thrown out for the 18th time in his career last night. 18 times. Draymond Green has now been ejected 18 times in 773 career games. It's about 2.3% of every game he's played in the NBA. He's got thrown out from. That doesn't seem like that much, but it's a lot more than anybody else. As of a month ago, he had 171 career technical fouls. So if he hadn't got one in between a month ago and last night, he has whatever that plus 171. So he's got at least 170 career technical fouls. He has 19 flagrant fouls. He has now been suspended 5 times, and the 6th, of course, is impending off of last night's transgressions, which were punching Yusuf Nurkic in the face, flailing wildly at him. He's fought. At first, it was really innocent. I watched a whole highlight tape, 20 minutes long, of him getting kicked out of games today. And at first, it was just like, oh, there's a little skirmish, fighting for a rebound, and the guys end up hugging each other, and somebody pushes somebody at the end. It's very innocent, right? And then we graduated to kicking people in the nards, and then we're punching people in the face and flailing helicopter style. Like, this guy has a problem.
The same argument is always, it's my natural body movement. I'm like, what? There's nothing natural about any of this.
Correct.
It's just I do not care for
I don't either.
Mr. Draymond Green and his antics.
Yeah, you watch
it's gotten so old.
Go watch a little video, just the ISO cam of him and what he does and how he ends up punching Yusuf Nurkic in the face or slapping Yusuf Nurkic
It was
in the face.
ridiculous.
Like that is not a natural thing that
No.
you do at any point in time during a basketball game. He literally spun around like a helicopter.
And I'd be interested to see.
He's like, "Oops, sorry, I jacked you in the face."
I'd be interested to see, since he already served a suspension this year for his Timberwolves altercation.
Yep, he loves altercations.
There's no way that this guy, after this, at minimum 5-game suspension.
I would hope so. I mean,
but at this,
he's a repeat offender.
I just don't even know what you do at this point.
You know,
maybe you say like, hey, 20 games because you can't control yourself.
Yeah, then there would be this just
then it would just
outrage.
Yeah, then it would.
He would go on his podcast and start talking about whatever. It's like, all right, we'll just suspend you for another 5 and hope you don't punch somebody in the face when you come back.
I personally think 10 games would be perfectly acceptable.
Maybe he gets more for this time, considering he's got now.
It was pretty bad.
He has now been suspended 5 times in his career, and the 6th is now impending. So those are the stats on Draymond Green. Meanwhile, the MVP of the league got thrown out last night for saying a potty word to the ref. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? I guess he wasn't the MVP last year, but I'm referring to Nikola Jokic, who was playing in Chicago last night, and he was mad that he didn't get a call, and they were running back down the floor, and he turned around and said something to the ref while he kept on running. It seemed like a very normal thing that happens in basketball all the time. He got immediately thrown out of the game. And it was Serbian Heritage Night in Chicago.
How dare they? How dare they? I think this in the last few weeks, there's been multiple instances of people getting ejected with little to no warning, consecutive technical fouls.
It's happened twice to Jokic this year.
I don't know if maybe the NBA officials are just a little sensitive currently.
Maybe a little sensitive. A little sensy.
A little sensy, because what are you doing? It's the 2-time MVP. Why are you throwing him out of the game?
Jokic said after the game, he kind of laughed it off, as he does. They were playing the Bulls. It's fine when you're playing the Bulls. And he got ejected. He still led the team in a variety of different categories, even though he was ejected in the first half. And he said after the game, something to the effect of like, "I'm glad this game wasn't in Serbia." Like, I don't know what he was intimating there, but it kind of sounded like he was going to sick the Serbian mob on the officials. Which honestly, I'm here for at this point.
Flares flying.
People got to know at this point. You can't mess with this guy. We've seen his brother. Like, we can't, don't mess with Nikola Jokic.
That's a strong family.
It would be a bad call by you. So maybe that's the word that's been put out to the league.
Yeah, the officials need to calm down a little bit. I mean, no one's paying to come see officiate.
And meanwhile, we can't keep Draymond Green,
And Draymond Green's going to decapitate somebody pretty soon on the court.
He's got to stop. He's got to stop punching people in the face.
I mean,
it seems very easy.
And I think he's going to retire soon. Like, when you want to just go quietly, like, I'll get my payday. I've got my titles. Nope, I'm going to just go on the court intending to injure somebody.
It is a natural. They're showing it right now on SportsCenter.
Natural.
I mean, maybe he's right. It's such a natural reaction for him to just automatically punch people in the face. It's like, sorry, I just can't stop punching people in the face. It's very natural for him. All right, we will return poll questions. Tell you what to watch on the other side on 1620 The Zone.
Remember, no matter how you listen, it's still AM radio. 1620 The Zone.
Peerless Energy Systems is Nebraska and Iowa's locally owned and operated authorized solar air compressor distributor. Peerless Energy Systems provides products and solutions for compressed air systems, helping companies in manufacturing, food processing, transportation, auto body repair, car dealers, and more. Driving industry efficiency through service, support, and relationships, let Peerless Energy Systems help you increase efficiency with your compressed air systems today. PeerlessEnergy.com.
Hey, everybody, it's Michael Savit for Ted and Wally's, 2 locations, one in Benson and one in the Old Market. Of course, not open on Christmas Day, but every other time around Christmas, when you need to go grab something for a quick present, whether it be a gift card or a great quart or pint, or maybe a half gallon of ice cream, you do that at Ted and Wally's. Not open on Christmas, but open the other days to make sure your Christmas is very special. All kinds of flavors, over 35 years of experience. Swing by today, whether it's Benson, in the Old Market, and tell them Savit sent you.
Let me get you up to speed on the service that you need.
Katie was recently told by a competitor that her transmission needed to be replaced. She thought the cost seemed a little too high, so she called us. We towed it from that shop and verified the transmission was in fact bad. We did the job and saved her over $1,500. Sometimes a second opinion can save you a lot of money. Don't overpay. Call Omaha Transmission.
Omaha Transmission, shifting to running smooth.
Omaha Maverick women's basketball travels to Texas Southern on Monday, December 18th. Hear all of the Omaha women's action Monday against Texas Southern on 1180 The Zone.
Host is roasting every morning. Host is roasting every day.
Put your coffee department in good hands with Host Coffee Service, providing direct delivery and loaned coffee equipment with service programs. If you're ready to change to a better coffee provider, it's time for Host Coffee.
Omaha's best coffee since 1972. Host Coffee is always roasting something good for you.
The brand new Dollar General Distribution Center in Blair is now hiring. Starting wage is up to $22 per hour with benefits including medical, dental, vision, 401k, and a $2,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Again, apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Dollar General can't wait to have you become a team member at their brand new distribution center.
Hi everybody, Kent Pavelka here with why I chose Everlevel Concrete Repair for my driveway. They do it all. They fix cracks, lift sunken slabs, protect the finished product from deterioration, and all at a fraction of the price of replacement. It's not a Band-Aid like other repair methods. Everlevel's products are designed to last, which is why they've been voted Best of Omaha again this year. Better yet, it all comes with a transferable warranty. Protect your concrete before winter. Call Everlevel today for your free inspection. Everlevel, they make your driveway Everlevel. Level up.
As we said earlier, you guys your oxygen over the next couple of days, if you're following any of the news with Nebraska football, will have to just be tweets filled with emojis and side eyes and things of that nature. I haven't seen one this direct yet. This is from Nebraska defensive lineman Kai Wallen, who tweeted out moments ago. Who else trying to see Kyle McCord and Julian Fleming in that scarlet and cream this year? Straight up calling him out by name. Many people in the comments said that they were trying to see that. So that's probably, the response that he was looking for. Probably
Seems like it.
Response that he was looking for there. All right. So good luck living off of your emojis and your tweets for the next couple days. By the way, just on that, I continue to think that the McCord thing is imminent. You might just have to wait it out. Who knows? But I do think that's happening. And then Raiola, we'll see on the visit, but that feels obviously really good as well.
Any minute now.
So the poll questions at Happer Show on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. We had a few up today, courtesy of our good friend Peter Man. Have you dined at a Chili's recently? Most voted on poll question of the day. Now you'd have to define recently. I take recently as 6 months to a year, maybe.
Yeah, I guess I probably should have specified, but yeah, it's within the calendar year.
Either way, the answer is no for me. Have you?
Yes. And it was because I was in Chicago and it was right by the arena I was at. So
sweet.
Convenient.
You went to Chicago and got Chili's?
It was
What's wrong with you?
It was just right there. We were starving. It was chaos. So many people were like, let's go to Chili's.
What arena? To the United Center?
Allstate Arena. It was like a suburb of Chicago, Rosemont.
Gotcha. You're in Rosemont.
And you know what? It was a great meal.
I didn't know there was a Chili's by Allstate Arena.
You'd be surprised what was.
Where did you go to there?
Survivor Series wrestling.
Yeah, that's
stuff.
right.
Yeah, it was a good time. There was also a Culver's, which was I was not expecting to see a Culver's right by there.
Nice. Okay, so you have my answer is no. That won with 87% of the vote. Have you ever been stopped at Costco for a cart check? I mean, this is every single time. I would hope that the answer is yes to this. Like, otherwise, I would feel really bad about myself. 56% only say yes that they have ever been stopped at Costco for a cart check. And I must be doing something wrong.
Yeah, something's about you and Costco.
And finally, if somebody says that they do not need a gift, do you still get them a gift? Yes.
Yes.
Yep. It's the right way to go. 70% have it all figured out. They say yes, you still get them a gift.
The smart play.
That is exactly. Just keep safe. Stay safe, everyone. Those are the poll questions. What are we watching, Peterman? Anything?
What are we watching?
I know what I'm watching.
The most important thing tonight, of course, Iowa Western going for another national championship.
I wonder if they'll do an interview with Josh.
I would love it. Can we get Josh on ESPNU?
They'll do a Josh vignette at some point.
Oh, yeah. That'd be great. That'll be on ESPNU at 7 tonight, so tune in for that, and hopefully we're talking to Josh tomorrow. Fresh off another victory.
With a bottle of champagne. And I got some texts from Josh last night talking about drinking Canadian Windsor.
Oh,
man, he's
ready.
When he goes on the road, he lives it up, you know? And like Iowa Western gets like a big road trip like this. It's not in a bus, and they do it for more than 24 hours. They do it twice a year. They went to Utah this year, and they took the charter jet.
Yeah.
This year they all busted this, but they go a couple days early. Yeah, Josh makes the most of his time on the road.
As he should.
I think that's honestly can be it. I was sitting around watching TV last night, and I was like, I came to the realization way too late that nothing was on at all. I was like,
it was kind of a dead
I'm not
night.
interested in anything. There's no sports. I flipped on an old episode of Better Call Saul. And
you know what? That's okay.
That was my
It's fantastic television.
Missy Daniel says the last time I was in Chili's, I feel like it was inside of the Crossroads Mall. Last time I was at Chili's, it would have been like 100. It would have been.
There was a Chili's in the Crossroads?
I think there was an.
Oh, you know what?
Was it an Applebee's or a Chili's? Maybe there was both.
There used to be an Applebee's right next to it on Dodge. It wasn't like part of Crossroads.
Maybe Crossroads.
Because we did have the great Applebee's Chili's debate on the crossover.
Oh yeah, as we do from time to time. All right, thank you, Peter, man.
You are welcome.
It was fun again today.
Let's do it again tomorrow.
We'll do it again one more time. We'll run it back. That is the show. If you missed anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. Our afternoon crossover is next.
Live from the host